Presidente, news just came in that China has been invaded by Mongol hordes. Yes, I know. I was surprised too. Apparently, they've been hiding for years, waiting for a crack in the wall to appear, and, well...
Canal Uno proudly presents the first sound recording from the surface of Mars. Riveting stuff!
What an amazing meteor shower. Such a shame that our neighbors were blown up by it.
Is your neighbor away at strange hours of the night? Do they conceal their face and drive an unsuspecting vehicle? You might have a spy on your hand. Or a murderer. In any case, report. See it, say it, stop it.
Governor, I am so happy. I have gotten word that I may now officially address you properly as... El Presidente. Oh, Presidente. Your political maneuverings are the stuff of legend. Excuse me while I take some notes.
Will robots replace your job? An official palace statement says it depends on how hard you're working, citizen.
Reporting in. The blockage has been flushed, all washed and wiped. How dare you speak to your immortal holy leader, El Presidente, like that? Besides, who cares about the moon? We're the talk of the town. People are fighting one another to come visit our little island and see the nation that conquered the moon. What an amazing meteor shower. Such a shame that our neighbors were blown up by it. My memory is uncertain. Did little people dance and sing? Or did we take a boat ride upon a river of confusion? The rich are always looking for a good way to make a quick buck. And they've hit upon the great untaxed opportunity that is... Sunday Mass. Charge the punters to go in. When the Padres complain, point them to Matthew 22:21 and look smug. The congregation won't be too happy, but who can resist the opportunity to turn profits into profits? Presidente, this bank in which the rum money sits, perhaps we should make a completely legal withdrawal while the opportunity still exists. Good morning, Presidente. I have brought you breakfast in bed, so imagine my disappointment to find you in the shower. It is I, Penultimo, your most faithful servant, aide, and, dare I say it, friend? What's that? No? I dare not say it? As you wish, Presidente.
Sir, the men are in position, but we need an insider before we go for Operation Spooky Kabuki.
Everyone wants to be paid more. And working hard is a virtue. We should combine these thoughts via a series of bonus payments and reward schemes for workers who put in those extra hours. Of course, when I say extra hours, I mean the all-new standard shift, which is more or less continuous. Synchronize watches? Check. Liquidize pineapples? Check. Hypnotize French tourists? Check. Oh my. Don't worry, Presidente. I will clean the remains of our temporal counterparts off the windscreen right away. It seems even the universe knows that there can be only one El Presidente. Time is precious, Presidente. Especially your time, as you are the busy leader of a nation and not just a child playing in a sandbox. I wonder if you might consider something like this, Presidente. But what about the solar flare? Aren't we in danger? There is a rebellion, Presidente. Revolutionaries are heading for the hills.
After some minor complications, the Tropican colony ship has landed on Mars. Cheers to the single remaining passenger who now has a lot of work ahead of them. Godspeed.
Presidente, please calm down. I know the audacity of these scientists is outrageous, but it's not good for your health. How about a nice soothing cigar and rum smoothie? I am sure that you are burning to hear the frank and honest thoughts of the people of our great nation, especially when they know about a particularly lucrative business opportunity. The first 3 Tropicans with half-decent deals to offer will earn an exclusive one-on-one audience with you, our beloved leader, as long as they sign the waiver giving away all exclusive rights. Presidente, we never did manage to top the Tau Index, but we sold the movie rights for a fortune, more than enough to pay off all those wrongful death lawsuits.
Success, Presidente, beyond the original parameters. We were ready to haul the rocks, but suddenly there were druids everywhere. We done it. The rocks rolled off the deck and onto the dock just now.
It's official. We have a drought. Water rationing begins immediately. In other news, it's bath day for El Presidente's favorite white elephant, El Nieli.
Spy! Traitor! Assassin! Seize him! Serious Duma. They snarked the donuts before we'd even logged in. And so our tale of global corruption comes to an end, with everyone suitably bribed and your legend significantly elevated. It is I, Presidente, Penultimo, your faithful aide, your biggest fan. I chronicled your triumphs. Fear not, for nothing was written down. Penultimo never forgets, unless he is told to, of course. Item 48. One of the plantation workers has requested a new pair of hats. Why is this even on here? Firing squad. This is outrageous, Presidente. We were so civil and only showed up with 3 tanks and half a battalion, and still those scientists shot down all our offers. One even used real guns. How rude. We now come to the troubling part of your job. Not everyone knows you are doing such great work. How crazy is that? Do you remember how outraged you were when the EU asked for our help studying corruption, Presidente? They didn't even offer a bribe.
Tropico, we have a problem, is what the troponauts of our recently launched colony ship would say if they were in trouble. But they aren't, so they shan't.
Fairest Presidente. What could be more promising than the promised promise of promises? A man in Paraguay found the last golden coupon, Presidente. Curses! I've been planning a vacation in Paraguay too. It should have been me.
Are you suspicious about your neighbor? You should be. Traitors to Tropico lurk in every corner. Be vigilant. Report anti-Tropican behavior immediately.
It's amazing what we can accomplish when Tropico puts its collective mind to something. Now, let's not waste any time. I can already feel Boris's fingers reaching for us.
As the storms abate, Canal Uno asks, were you struck by lightning? Were you struck twice? Call in now!
What a voyage! I didn't think we'd ever eat all those sausages.
What a tremendous event in world history. Tropico just entered the space age with the launch of the first ever colony ship en route to bring civilization to that dead red planet. Canal Uno here with a message for our Caribbean neighbors. Aren't you tired of all the pirates and attacks from masked paramilitary groups? Why not come to Tropico, where that never happens.
I think that's just Hector. Oh, didn't think we'd ever get back to Tropico.
Canal Uno reports Tropico is not the only one to send colony ships to Mars. Other ships have been sighted going to Venus and the moons of Jupiter. We hear reports of one North Korean ship trying to settle the sun. Is that right, Jerry?
Presidente, I am terribly sorry. There seem to be a few miners who are... well, they're just doing nothing at all. They must have been out all night partying with Funhauser. I have horrible news, Presidente. Our glorious spaceship, set to conquer the stars in the name of Tropico, has failed. It's gone to the great golden beaches in the sky, to frolic with the celestial llamas through the heavenly tobacco fields.
The Tropican dollar climbed today, causing an immediate drop in tourist revenue. A palace spokesman said, yeah, well, we don't need their money anyway. Shortly before being fired, into the nearest volcano.
Normally, green crops are a sign of freshness, but when it is our warehoused coconuts turning green, then we may have a mold problem. I don't know what to tell you, Presidente. Everything has been explored and claimed. This world is already full, and this is what we have. I mean, it's not like we're going to suddenly find some unclaimed land nobody else knew about, right? Icarus 1, you are cleared for launch. Presidente, our esteemed scientists are truly special. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for someone better to be washed ashore, but I fear we are stuck with those we have.
The palace denies putting chemicals in water to make citizens more compliant. Pick up the phone and tell us what you think, if you can.
These thieves! They are stealing from right under our noses. I fear for the safety of our facial hair. Hear how the people cheer for you, Presidente.
or do they scream? Regardless, I may have stumbled upon a way to guarantee your eternal presidency.
Canal Uno wishes a warm welcome to any new Tropicans fresh from the immigration office. Not many people can get past the 50th round of testing. Tropico is a strong nation, and it deserves a strong military. That is why El Presidente has built us a defense headquarters for all our futures.
Oh, no. Like a toddler after too much juice, Presidente. We are surprised by more leaks.
With the conflagration which destroyed much of the world's farmlands finally extinguished, raw resource prices fell today. All across the world, many people celebrated this news by staging elaborate firework displays.
Did we ask our spies among the rebels to orchestrate an uprising? No? Oh, dear.
The tremors have ceased. If you're still shaking, we recommend calling your neurologist as soon as possible.
Ah, look at all those surly builders with ill-fitting work clothes. They are more reliable than they look, Presidente. They put up buildings in the blink of an eye, and they will stay put up, which is definitely a bonus. Beautiful? Stunning? The best place on Earth? The crown jewel of the Caribbean.
The palace voluntarily devalued the Tropican dollar today, bringing import prices back to standard. El Presidente stated, winning was just too easy. It didn't feel like sport anymore.
As much as the people enjoy sleeping under the stars and huddling together for warmth at night in their ramshackle lintus, it might be worth considering some long-term plans for housing. With an urban development fund, we can make it so much cheaper to build accommodation that we can soon turn our beautiful islands into smoggy cities before we even have time to think twice about why we are doing it. The mystery is solved, Governor. Here are your reading glasses. Also, I have news about Wyndham's mysterious statue. And to think, the global economic powerhouse that is the Tropico brand all began with something so simple, so innocent as that little big press doll. Presidente, I must say I am a little nervous about my next mission. I'll be stepping right into the lion's den with nothing but my charm and my bare hands, which are nothing like real bears. Ah, the peal of thunder in the mountains always reminds me of Lord Wyndham. A gentleman in more ways than one, Presidente, but what a temper! Like a Tropican-made car, Presidente. It seems your education plans have backfired. The poor are complaining that they cannot afford to drive an automobile, and the rich are complaining that they keep running over the poor on their way to work. We can kill two birds with one diesel-fueled stone by providing state-supported vehicles for everyone. Sure, they will not be as sexy or as terrible for the environment as our own cars, but they will be just as dangerous and fun to crash. We have to be sure, Presidente. But I haven't the faintest idea where to start searching. The sky is so vast it could be hiding anywhere. Aren't there people who specialize in these things? What up, Presidente dude? Not working too hard as Presidente for life, I hope. I, your loyal Penultimo, am attempting my first holiday in 27 years. But I am bored, dude. Nothing can match the political thrills of the ultimate referendum. How you met the populist needs of people with entirely opposing desires was beyond my most absurd political dreams. Penultimo out. Mic drop. Sorry to disturb your important work, Presidente. Do you remember the very important cargo meant for the Allies that is crucial to help them win this war? Well, it's gone. Between Wyndham's absurd outburst and what we discovered from his spies, we have a breakthrough, Presidente. Governor, the Crown has just sent us an urgent report. They even used the first-class pigeon.
To infinity! Or somewhere closer! Tropico is now officially a space-age power, probing the universe for all its secrets, preferably the profitable ones. Breaking news! The Allies are now our allies too! Together, we will face the enemies! Who are our enemies?
Moving on. Item number... Now, Presidente, what shall be Tropico's goal in this time of peace and tranquility? Huh? What's this now? Oh, no.
Canal Uno proudly reports that our rocket has made it off the platform without exploding. Third time's the charm, eh, guys?
But that ignorance worked out pretty well for us, eh? I mean, eventually. If you ignore all the times when it didn't. Spy cars, spy boats, spy scooters. You can't be a secret agent without something cool to crash and blow up. How can we be so undercut by cheap foreign labor, Presidente? We barely pay our workers as it is.
Canal Uno looks joyful towards the future. Not long now that our mission to the moon's surface will wow the world with Tropican ingenuity once more. Go, Tropico!
Tropico has many proud traditions. Take criminals, for instance. Ever since these islands were settled by our founding felons, Tropicans have taken a progressive attitude towards those of morally eccentric behavior. What better way to expand the population than to show the courage of our convictions? Better still, since nobody else wants these particular convicts, we'll get paid to take them. Your genius is undeniable, Presidente. But would you consider an idea from your humble Penultimo? Presidente has many plans, of course, and Penultimo is always standing by to assist. Presidente, International Tropico Day is a success. It is already celebrated in nearly 2 countries.
That was a close one.
Oh. My. Wow, that is pungent. It's got a little bit of a coconutty aftertaste. It's intriguing. Could I have another one, please? Good news, Presidente. Our tourism industry is booming. People are fighting each other over the chance to come to Tropico. Marvelous. I wish I could see Boris's stupid face right now.
The industrialist representative was removed from the El Presidente Club today. In an official statement, the palace insisted that no awkward questions be asked.
The Axis have broken the Allied blockade, Presidente. We are free. However, they are now going to invade Tropico.
In a hard-hitting expose, Canal Uno exposes the truth about the commandos. They do wear underwear. It is unwise to go to war without it. New history books arrived today with the true story of how El Presidente won the war. The results are in, and it's a decisive victory for El Presidente, our beloved and inescapable Commander-in-Chief.
Presidente, I am thrilled to learn that you have the resolve to make Tropico a nuclear power.
Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an appointment with the floor.
Remember, Tropico could be invaded at any time. Keep your survival kit on hand. In the event of panic, breathe into the paper bag.
I sense an opportunity from the east, Presidente. Or west, if you want to go around the long way. Want to make a quick buck? Superpowers will pay a tidy sum to conduct a few small thermonuclear tests. This is bound to be popular with the local residents, especially if you tell them radiation will give their skin a healthy glow and help them save money on haircuts. Everyone knows that this is the atomic age, and we wouldn't want Tropico to get left behind, would we?
Canal Uno is proud to report the construction of the space complex. Soon we will make history once again with the first voyage to the moon. Our troponauts are already practicing their lines for when they first set foot on our celestial neighbor.
Presidente, I was wrong. This feeling is okay. I feel totally at peace and just okay with the world. Come, join us.
It's no good. We be surrounded by pilgrims.
Fans of naked greed celebrated today with the announcement that Magnus Sterling has decided to make Tropico his second home. Or third. Possibly seventh.
Shove it, Bobo. Magnificent, Presidente. The Speaker It's almost as magnificent as you yourself. Maybe we should put your face on the speaker to make it double magnificent. Maybe that's a bit too much magnificence. Yes, once the world saw what we had to offer, they beat a path to our door, and we charged them a fortune to open it. Ah, that was my foot! Ah. It's a success the likes of which ye have never seen. Look at that decor. Call that a palace? Really, Presidente, these people clearly have no taste. That must be why they are opposing you. The statues have been erected, Presidente. The people are ecstatic, though they try hard to hide their joy so as not to embarrass you. Sometimes I even think that we owe your enemies a debt, Presidente. They made you strong, strong enough to overcome any challenge, strong enough to rule forever. And I have learned so much from behind your back. So, let us toast, Presidente. One last time. Viva Tropico!
Consumer goods prices bounced back today when it was discovered that the cheap, inferior goods which had flooded the market were highly toxic, causing some countries to ban them.
But we know better, Presidente. Science does exist, and it has a dark side. Do you remember the creatures, Presidente? Do they still haunt the innermost cavities of your mind? I remember the claws, the blood, the horror. Every night I pray to forget. Making money is good, but you know what is better? Making more money. And so, the story is told. That is how we met, Presidente. The most important time of my life. I still have the assassin's bullets, you know. I keep them close to my heart.
We've been losing so many ships lately that I feel it's getting a little cluttered up there. Maybe we should think about collecting our garbage. Be a responsible spacefaring nation. Ah, who cares? It's space! There's a lot of it! Canal Uno is happy to report that El Presidente has now taken residence on Mars. And I, for one, welcome our new Martian overlord.
When will people realize the dangers of nuclear energy, Presidente? Why can't we just keep burning coal, oil, and ballot papers? Presidente! Our wooden Presidente figure is so iconic. Don't turn your back on little Big Prez. Turn them into collectibles instead.
According to El Presidente, this was the single greatest and most unforgettable political victory in Tropico's history. But we are sure the palace is just being modest. A spate of vandalism has been denounced by the palace as sour grapes. Poor people simply don't understand the pressures of wealth, a spokesperson said.
Arr! If you couldn't tell, that was not a happy arr, but rather an angry arr, because ye crossed us, Governor. Presidente, I think we might have a problem. After landing at the coordinates we were given, well, there are billboards of you everywhere. But it's not you. But I feel it is you. But also that it's not. I'm confused.
In case you get the feeling that you're being watched, get used to it. Today we celebrate the first part of the Tropican space station in orbit around Earth.
We have a grocery, Presidente. Let's buy chocolate. Wear this realistic false nose, or you will be recognized from the picture on the money.
The palace today announces a new mascot, Hermano Mayor. He is big and he's your brother. He'll always keep an eye on you, and that's a promise.
Presidente, I am terribly sorry. I will fire the person responsible right away. Elena, who was in charge of... Oh, me? Ah. Oopsie? I'm terribly sorry, Presidente. Blast this old box of scraps. Come on. Here we go. Score! Hackers FTW.
Airplanes have revolutionized warfare, yet Tropico still has no air force. An official palace statement says, learn to fly one, then we will get planes.
Oh my, I'm so sorry, Presidente. That was my mistake. I planned it as a surprise for you, but I guess he found the preliminary sketches. Maybe we should throw him a bone, just so the old dog won't be so mad at us. The giant 3D printer plan is still good, but there's a snag.
We're out of toner.
Excelente, Governor. The pirates are now yours to command. Now I don't have to talk in that ridiculous dialect anymore. Okay, don't panic. We can deal with this. Right, Presidente? Right? Please tell me we could deal with this. Ah! Thank you. I'm okay.
Good news! The fungal infection which affected a handful of properties has been resolved. From now on, if your banana is green, it's just unripe.
I have never understood why the French were so unpopular. Great food, a sexy language, and a distinctive landmark that makes thousands of visitors queasy every day. Presidente, I know you always keep your promises, but the citizens today can be very exacting about what counts as a kept promise.
Presidente, shall we play a game? Chess? No. What about global thermonuclear war?
Dear listeners, do you hear humming noises above you? Don't be alarmed. Surveillance drones exist for the safety and convenience of those who have nothing to hide.
A wise man once asked, "War, what is it good for?"
Presidente, I believe the answer may well be making lots of money.
The intellectuals leader departed the El Presidente Club today, causing speculation that their 2-for-1 offers on cocktails were dangerously impairing her intellectual faculties.
I do not understand these vegans, Presidente. They say they do not want products which are the result of exploitation, but have they seen how we treat our workers?
A toast for Tropico, perhaps.
I'm sure you would agree that few things in life are truly certain, Presidente. Besides taxes and the inevitable zombie plague.
We could wait for the perfect moment to strike, or we could go in guns blazing, if we had guns.
In a statement released to this station, Sunnyflower says the environmentalist leader has quit the El Presidente Club today as a protest against their continued use of plastic straws.
With a program for industrialization, we can plan far enough ahead to make money, but not so far ahead as to have to worry about environmental impact. With just one not-so-small upfront fee, we can slash the cost of building each and every new factory. It is not only a great way to boost the economy, but it also helps fill our skies with the pleasing wispiness of chimney smoke.
It's working, Presidente. You are the face of a beloved toy line, with only 3 lawsuits in the last year. All successfully hushed up, of course.
And there goes another one. Put it on the board, Steve. Canal Uno, always up to date with the newest spaceship fail statistics. Another win for human error.
Presidente, this facility is bigger than I had expected. It goes on for miles.
Thanks to my amazing sense of direction, I only got lost 5 times.
Presidente, one of our Caribbean neighbors is attacking. A number of our brave citizens sailed away to fight in the war, Presidente.
And, regrettably, never returned to us.
I have good news and bad news, Presidente.
But do not worry. The bad news is we are running out of space for all the money we are making.
If you've recently avoided Tropican fish because they started tasting like batteries, good news! They've been given the all clear today, which also describes our water now.
What? We leave you? No, never. Presidente, do you have a friend?
Of course your greatness is irresistible to flatterers and yes-men. Such people disgust me.
Today, Brittany Triviale announced she'll be making Tropico her permanent home. Well, just so long as we don't have an internet outage.
It's as cold as hell where our troops are stationed. Or is it as hot as hell? No, it is definitely cold. It is true, the wind is stronger than usual, and thunder has been heard pealing in the distance, but I assure you, the palace is in no danger.
Presidente, I don't mean to order you around or anything, but I think we should...
We have to update the operating system, Presidente, dude. We turned off the automatic update a year ago, then forgot. It may take some time. I am always looking for ways to make our export business more efficient. And the biggest problem is that big boats are so slow. Well, we can squeeze a few knots out of every vessel if we wax the hull to reduce drag and switch from diesel engines to widdershins.
It will cost a little more in maintenance, but more speed means quicker export money. First rule of the art of war. Only fight battles you know you can win. Presidente, we've located the wall, but there's no way we can win against the soldiers stationed there. Maybe we should find a less occupied part of the wall. Ha! What a nice, relaxing vacation. We went sightseeing, did the Hollywood tour, and I even took some photos under the big sign they have here. Maybe we can do something like that here, too. Imagine your name in great white illuminated letters. A bad workman blames his tools. But he has to have some tools before he can blame them.
An impromptu vandalism competition ended in victory today for the Tropican rebels, as they beat the local authorities by 2 whole walls.
Governor, we must now attend the theater. It is possible that this is not a trap. It is also possible that I will one day be king of the world.
You're listening to Canal Uno, the voice of Tropico, because El Presidente loves you all. The Strengthened Trade Route Initiative, which has suppressed non-trade route export prices, came to an end today when the organizational body behind it disbanded to pursue solo projects.
The people of Tropico love you almost as much as I do, Governor. We have such exquisite taste.
An official announcement from the palace declares that we are definitely winning the war. Keep listening to find out which side we are currently on.
Now that we've gotten this mess out of the way, we can finally focus on what's important.
Presidente, can you hear me? It's getting dark. So dark. Is that... I think I can see the light. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I hope I see you on the other side. Presidente.
Whoa! It's tough on everyone, but especially tough on the army when there isn't enough metal to make bullet casings. Fortunately, there's some spare copper-bronze alloy lying around in every church steeple. We've tried swords to plowshares, now it's time to swing it the other way round. Don't expect any love from the parishioners when the bells no longer toll, but our brave soldiers will be delighted. Wyndham is overconfident, Presidente. He expects direct action, but we shall remove his support and give him a political hernia.
Oh, Jesus. He stood until the bitter end, but they got him, Presidente. Damn you, God, if you even exist. And if you do, then go to hell. Thank you, Jesus. Now you can finally rest for all eternity.
Canal Uno would like to rescind the previous statement about Penultimo. Turns out he's not a traitor. So, please stop beating him up whenever you see him at the supermarket. It's getting in the way of the grocery run.
There, it is complete. Once again, the breadth of El Presidente's awesome political vision is shown.
The palace declares the Cold War officially over. Tropico is awarded the win on points.
Transportation is what cities of the future need. Actually, it is what cities of the present need. Who knows about the future?
In recent news, Tropicans play it cool as volcanic activity comes to an end. Get ready to ride the Richter scale as Tropico welcomes Earthquake Oprah. There's a whole lot of shaking going on this weekend.
Canal Uno says, say cheese! As the first ever space joyride launched today, carrying passengers to the edge of space. Tip of the day, bring your own life jacket. Sometimes ours are filled with sand.
Presidente, I'm confused. What about Mars?
The farm. It's not just a place where illiterate workers can drive oddly dangerous vehicles. It's where all of Tropico's food is grown. I checked. We could have more food for everyone, even our friends abroad if they're willing to pay, with just a little investment in economic incentives. Of course, some will complain that you're messing with the free market economy, but you can't farm eggs for omelets without breaking a few friendships.
Canal Uno proudly announces the launch of the first ever colony ship. Godspeed to the magnificent people on board. And when you get there, look out for the sandworms and the little green men.
We need to blend in. Take our proper places.
Presidente, I think I hear the sound of our adoring tourists now. They're crying out for more space joyrides.
Can't you hear them? Presidente! More joyrides!
So, should we oblige?
Studies show that the meat from happy animals tastes better than that from sad ones. Plus, you can stick on a fancy label saying cruelty-free and hike up the prices. Just have the ranch workers stop and pet the livestock. It's not the most efficient farming technique, but the hippies and flower people will be delighted. As much as they can be about meat farming.
Canal Uno would like to welcome Hollywood movie star Buck Bailey to Tropico. We hope you're here for a holiday and not to blow people up like in your action movies.
Your genius is undeniable, Presidente, but would you consider an idea from your humble Penultimo? That's so much better. I can see clearly again. But the people haven't got any prettier. If anything, they actually get uglier the longer I look at them. Okay, back on target. The eternal flame stands proud, right beside a palace.
Canal Uno reporting live from the moon. It's one small step for man, but a giant leap for Tropico. Congratulations to the brave heroes aboard the Llama 11 spaceship.
That was a close one, Presidente. Apparently, some citizens need to be reminded just how much they love you. There we go. Okay, now to put it back together again. Did anyone remember whether this brick was at the top or at the bottom? No? What about this one? Did anyone make a list of where these go? No? Okay. Trial and error it is. Emphasis on the error. For some reason, other nations never quite manage to properly tax the wealthiest people. Tropico could make some sweet moolah by raising a tax that only affects the wealthiest citizens. It's free money in the treasury, and the only downside is the burning hatred of the capitalists. Besides, the communists are likely to view this as rather hilarious. It is all happening as I dreamt it, Presidente. Except I am not a chihuahua, and you are not 50 feet high. But it is close to how I dreamt it. Pollution is such a problem these days. We just can't store all of the toxic waste, and it's expensive to pay other countries to take it. But there is a convenient, cost-effective solution that is only technically illegal under international statutes. Burial at sea. As long as these cut-price containers are strong enough, and investigative journalists never find out, nothing can possibly go wrong.
Plane touched down at 0900 hours local time. My body still thinks it's 1800 hours last Wednesday. The docs call it turboprop lag.
Well, von Hauser is going to be out of commission for a while. Remind me not to leave Elena alone with blunt objects in the future. Only a genius of your magnitude could have made the Cayo de Gasolina Submarina experiment work, Presidente. No one else would even have bothered to try.
The new robot voting system guarantees the next election will be fair, honest, and in no way at risk from unexpected bugs. What a relief.
These tourists are fascinating creatures, Presidente. Once they are on vacation, they forget what their money is worth. I am sure we can figure out how to throw parties. Now, run along. Have a nice day.
Loyal Penultimo is speechless. Only the political majesty of his beloved Presidente stills Penultimo's tongue this way.
Presidente, just as I am when I am forced to be apart from you. The world is in a great depression.
Presidente, we've tried turning it off and on again.
And it still doesn't work. Do we expect them to talk? No, we expect them to die. Of course, I joke, Presidente. You are responsible for all of our expectations of death.
Presidente, it seems that German scientists are strategically important. We should execute a raid to kidnap some. From either side.
You have done it, Presidente. Victory is ours. Victory is yours. Cars, boats, telepheric gondolas. Your mighty arm reaches everywhere. But the people,
They must be transported. Laws, rules, regulations. These are a few of Penultimo's favorite things. There he goes, off to travel the cosmos in his own little probe. Hope he doesn't get too lonely out there. All 4 squirrel habitats are complete, Presidente. They are all identical, but we will paint murals around them to pretend that they are different. Babies. They cry, poop, and do nothing useful. But we love them so much, especially when they are asleep or in somebody else's house. Why don't we plan for more bundles of joy in the future by encouraging the citizens to do what they already want to do and take down the barriers between them? Putting aside the dream interpretation, it did stir up a thought. What if the meteor will appear again? It already destroyed one Tropico. What if it comes back to finish the job? The pace of life is so fast these days, and these new haircuts are too scary for the old folks. There are those who would like a return to more traditional values, and the haircuts that go with them, like the pudding bowl and the back and sides that are short. We cannot travel through time, but we have the next best thing. Vintage clothing, skirts that go all the way down, and hats that go all the way up.
Construction was finished today on Tropico's exclusive new El Presidente Club. And if all you listeners are wondering what it looks like inside, then don't.
Presidente did all this. You merely stood by and watched.
Concerned about foreign trade putting you out of a job? Fear not! The Customs Office is here to protect you by monitoring international trade.
Let Penultimo humbly teach you something. So many ways to juice the fruits of the Tropican economy.
Food prices stabilized today after a report showed that many people had abandoned veganism, largely because the popularity of the movement meant they no longer had anyone to feel superior to.
Now that the war is over, Presidente, we finally have a chance to demonstrate your unlimited greatness to the world. I am so excited.
After a little delay due to one of the troponauts being stuck on the space toilet, the colony ship has nonetheless launched successfully. Next time you won't be so lucky, Pedro.
Mr. von Hauser, your job would be so much easier without the citizens. Perhaps one day we will be able to replace them. Don't. 7, 8, no, 900,000. Oh, yeah. It's all coming. Presidente, I was just counting the earnings. They fell down and I was just picking them up. They're not mine. A friend gave them to me.
Don't touch that dial. It's got Canal Uno all over it.
Presidente, I just had the most terrible nightmare. I was chased by a horde of monstrous llamas, screaming in a foreign language. Then everything was destroyed by a meteor with my face on it. We are wanted men, Presidente. The whole nation is looking for us. But they seem to have a blind eye when it comes to cheap roadside motels, which is lucky because the pancake buffet here is amazing. I wouldn't mind staying a little longer.
Announcing the winner of our competition to win a signed portrait of El Presidente. Penultimo! Congratulations, number 2! We knew 1,000 entries would suffice.
Presidente, there are reports of people absent-mindedly walking into traffic because they are distracted by Spitter. This is better than we could have hoped. Governor, could you lend me your ear for a small moment? This von Hauser character, I'm really not sure about him. He appears out of nowhere, takes over the show, and I'm just left standing on the sidelines. Indeed, smells like victory. Does it not, Presidente? Let Penultimo humbly teach you something. Neuschwanstein has touched down. Of course, re-entry broke it into tiny pieces, but we've weighed it, and everything is still there. Governor, good. The pirates have taken our precious bomb and are going to do who knows what with it. Well, as long as they leave us alone.
Confidence in the financial sector was restored today after the arrest of the people behind the recent disastrous collapse. Inside sources claim the perpetrators could receive up to 3 hours of community service. Drilling constraints were lifted on Tropico today after an extensive geological survey showed that the earth tremors were actually caused by a nearby party getting out of hand. The palace denies the construction of a top-secret spy base. In other news, El Presidente's new personal art gallery has exceptionally high security.
Do you know what helps keep the people from thinking about their troubles? A lavish, ludicrous, utterly over-the-top street party. We'll have women in absurdly sparkly dresses, unidentifiable mascots in bizarre costumes, and dodgy men eating fire for some reason. And what with all the liquid merriment before, during, and after, nobody will remember what they did last Tuesday, let alone what you did.
We have word from the palace officially denying that there are any plans to genetically engineer more compliant citizens. How reassuring.
Success, Presidente! Little Big Prez is not just a toy line now. It is also the face of other, less infantile products. And it's your face, Presidente. Presidente, I fear my cover might be blown. I accidentally blew up my superior's microwave casserole. Now he's mad at me and threatening me with suspension. Plane touchdown at 1100 hours. Which coincidentally is the number of blisters on poor Penultimo's hands. Presidente, you are doing great! Really! Let Penultimo take care of those silly money problems.
Elon Gates, the world's foremost expert on topics ordinary people don't understand, arrived in Tropico today, which begs the question, did he get on the wrong flight?
Dude, we were ready to digitize the pyramids, but as we were scanning them, we found a lot of bad blocks. Presidente, the pineapple has found the dirty laundry and is en route to the dry cleaner. Oh, I can't keep it up anymore. I've done it, Presidente. Wyndham is finished. We have acquired the target statue, Commander, without losing any of her limbs. We even remembered the head. Presidente, Mayor... El Mayor? No, I will not do this again. Never again shall I call you anything other than El Presidente, no matter what the consequences. Though throughout your career, you were the fairest of leaders, Presidente. Even you made enemies. I know, the fools. They do not see what I see. Do you know what is popular with the people? Families. Everyone loves children. Well, everyone loves their own children. Other people's children are another matter entirely. But we can win some popular support by paying people to have children. The citizens will like all the implications of that legislation. Our agents have returned from the field, smuggling the cathedral under their coats. It took a lot of trips. Presidente, some of your squirrels have arrived. There are fewer than promised, as some have apparently eaten the others on the journey. Promises, Presidente, the best friend of any politician. And for some reason, no one is ever surprised when we don't fulfill them. Oh, Governor, you look so pretty today. Oh, sorry, I have been bleeding a little since I was shot, and my head feels very light.
We made 1 billion friends today as China and Tropico face the future side by side.
Hack complete! And we leveled up to boot. Well, we're still investigating, but it seems our security was lacking, or on vacation, or asleep.
Canal Uno Love Hour. If you're able-bodied, like the taste of pina coladas, long walks on the beach, have at least half a brain, and a somewhat normal face, report to the spaceport for a special surprise. This message was brought to you by the Palace.
You were most wise not to engage Tropico in the war, Presidente. It is far better to fill our coffers than our coffins. Dude, we were ready to digitize the pyramids, but as we were scanning them, we found a lot of bad blocks. But for me, I shall always remember that wonderful time that I proudly scrubbed the glorious Presidente.
Canal Uno congratulates our brave troponauts on a successful launch. Don't forget to pack your floaties and space snacks.
If I may have your attention, Presidente. Ahoy, Captain! Your coves are ready. I've never seen so many hooked hands, wooden legs, and eye patches in my life.
Today saw the conservative representative ousted from the El Presidente Club. which was immediately blasted by their spokesperson as being far too modern anyway, because they allow women in.
Party on, my friend. Presidente, this investigation is going nowhere. There are more spies than Tropicans. There was one under my pillow this morning, and another one was hiding in my cereal. I don't know what to do anymore, and I'm hungry.
Citizens are reminded that illegal hacking will not be tolerated. However, all hackers should report to the new Cyber Operations Center for entirely legal re-employment.
A bad workman blames his tools. But he has to have some tools before he can blame them.
Wonderful, Presidente. You always make the right choice. I would have done the same. Oh, thank God. I thought you had lost your mind there for a while.
If there is a drawback to having increased popularity, Presidente, it is that it has become popular to disagree with you.
Tragic news, as our colony ship to Mars has met a tragic fate. Our thoughts go out to the shareholders that financed this space mission. Don't worry. One day we'll get there. One day.
Work is hard, and nobody appreciates that more than you, Presidente. You've never had to do a day of hard labor in your life, and you aren't about to start now. As a show of goodwill to the citizens of Tropico, a mandatory 2-hour siesta is to be declared after lunch. It is not a great recipe for productivity, but it sure breaks up those long afternoons slaving away. With this edict, you snooze, but you do not lose.
The chefs have reached the kitchen, Commander, but the bacon is stuck to the griddle. Repeat, the bacon is burning.
Jesus Fuego announced today it was his intention to stay on Tropico permanently so he can research his new book. I wonder if I'll get a mention in it.
Plane touchdown tonight at 2300 hours. We would have been here sooner, but we wanted just one more Parisian dîner et vin before dusting off.
Are you seeing anything?
I'm not seeing anything. The way he was hyping it up made it sound like there would be something spectacular.
Maybe we should check on him?
Whoa! What the hell was that?
Good news, Presidente. The parties went very smoothly. Well, one stumbled while carrying their goods out the back door, but nothing serious.
The croissant is in the poodle. The croissant is in the poodle, Presidente. Did you not get the code book? My apologies, Presidente.
On the other hand, the Eastern Bloc causes only dissension and strife. I denounce those who profit blatantly from global turbulence. A free market requires an invisible hand.
Success, Presidente, beyond the original parameters. What a shame you are not able to build the celestial palace of your dreams. The total lack of air made it a difficult construction project. Not to mention that you didn't have any money left to buy rockets. But, Presidente, I'll always remember the day you hung the moon. Reporting in. The blockage has been flushed, all washed and wiped. Let me add to your infinite wisdom, Presidente.
Robot puppies! Saper stupid? Or ticking time bomb to robot apocalypse? Canal Uno reporters will have the crucial answer soon.
Presidente, in these times of financial strife, we must exploit our most precious natural resource, gullible tourists.
Presidente, I've stopped the Teamster revolution. Well, not the entire revolution. Actually, just this one building. Oh, okay, I couldn't stop anyone from leaving, but I could get the keys to one of the unburnt trucks.
Come, Presidente, we had best make a beeline for the emergency cave.
Maybe he thinks he's already won by blowing up our time limousine and won't bother us anymore.
It is no good. We are surrounded by pilgrims.
It is as cold as hell where our troops are stationed. Or is it as hot as hell? No, it's definitely cold.
That thing is getting a little flippant for my taste, Presidente. Wasn't he supposed to be boring all the time?
This is Canal Uno Business News. Say ciao to the new Coliseum of Tropico. Sophisticated animal shows for senators and more. It's definitely not stolen from Rome. Fact.
The global economic trend is for municipal debt funding of infrastructure projects, Presidente. I don't know what that means, but I have great interest in low-interest loans.
It is time for you to meet someone Penultimo does not consider a friend.
Canal Uno is happy to report that our colonists have just set up a new base on Mars. Yes, with this one, the rivalry between colonies should finally get interesting. Keep your popcorn ready for the drama!
Drama at the El Presidente Club today as the capitalist membership was rescinded. Speaking to our reporter, the disgruntled individual said, "Fine, I'll just buy my own club."
Life at sea is never boring, except when shipworms bore through the hull.
Baseball, Presidente. I do not understand it. You do not understand it. Why, even the umpires barely understand it.
Our time is up, Presidente, and we have failed. I would fall on my sword, but I have no sword. So, I will fall on this pen.
Ow! Ah, Spitter. For a while there it was perfect. Well, once we persuaded Tropicans to start using it, why pay for police officers when we're paying the army just to sit around on their ample buttocks? For a modest annual fee, every soldier could do double duty as policeman and help the real cops catch the bad guys to boot. Sure, citizens will grumble about loss of freedom, but the more upstanding citizens will be quick to point out the benefits of making the boys in green back up the boys in blue.
An official statement from the palace confirms a meteor shower is going to narrowly miss Tropico. El Presidente asks for your gratitude for its majestic achievement. A palace statement today denies the existence of discontented citizens. Current gatherings are not protests. People are happy, motivated, and worshipping El Presidente relentlessly.
Governor, I am shot. Oh, alas, poor Penultimo. As I reached for the peanuts, something went bang, then bang again. 9 more times.
It's a tremendous occasion today, as our massive colony ship has just landed the entire population of a small town on Mars. Have fun! New surroundings, same faces as back home.
Presidente, it is our responsibility to ensure that all buildings have the proper paperwork. Of course, good bureaucracy doesn't come cheap, and neither do good slush funds. Given the importance of both, we should look for opportunities to expand the building permit scheme wherever possible. Does that shack have a permit? What about that sandcastle? The possibilities are endless.
If you're seeing some unexpected fireworks this evening, don't be surprised. That's the explosion of one of our rivals' rockets. At least they provided us with something nice to look at.
Do you know what could help Tropico's education system? An elaborate competition involving arbitrary scholastic skills. Preferably one involving such incredible pressure to succeed that the little kiddies nearly wet themselves with panic at the thought of taking part. We will psychologically scar a few children for life, but we will also find the smart ones and can fast-track them to success. Presidente, certain special goods are required for parties, if you know what I mean. We have so many friends we need to make happy. We have been hit by the mummy's curse, and I'm not even speaking in code. Presidente, the operation is a complete success. That paperweight on your desk, that is the real Colosseum. If you look closely, you may even see some surprised tourists still inside. Elena, what are you... What?
Today is a proud day.
Excellent, Presidente. We are practically swimming in tourists. That should give our friends a bit of an edge in their fight against the Grey Menace. How? How could this happen? How could anyone possibly think that you shouldn't be Presidente? Presidente.
Reports of unrest among Tropico's intelligentsia have been played down by the palace. Apparently, recent experiments in coffee strength went badly astray.
Can't you believe there was once a time when nobody knew about Tropico, Presidente? Today, the Tropico brand is so scorching, you could use it to sear your initials into cattle hide.
Furthering the education of the Tropican people, our beloved Presidente introduces you to the concept of seasons. Just step inside the frigid winter palace. Citizens, do your civic duty and preserve water. El Presidente isn't asking you to drink your own bodily fluids. Yet. but save them just in case.
Your ratings are improving, Presidente. But for your popularity to soar, you should make some promises that are literally too good to be true. Tropico loves corruption, Presidente. And not just because anyone who says differently is threatened with deportation. There seems to have been some kind of mistake. How can I say this? You did not win. Presidente, Operation Stony Kitty is a success. The agents are returning from Egypt with the limestone sculpture molecularly dissolved in Egyptian wine. Aren't you tired of lithe, svelte citizens who are all skin and bones? By doubling food rations, you can make everyone happy. Well, except for the wealthy tycoons whose market economics thrive on scarcity. But everyone else will be mildly pleased at your generous gesture. Besides, it will be years before the detrimental health effects of chronic obesity will get noticed. Right? Am I right? I'm right. That was too easy, Presidente. It is almost as if the British people didn't really like European bureaucracy.
Time now for the Canal Uno business news.
Presidente, most people do not believe in science. It is too far-fetched. It is not something they can see with their own eyes.
Presidente, I've noticed that our missions to colonize the Red Planet are always filled with exciting mini-adventures, full of sadness, drama, friendship, and more drama. That sounds an awful lot like the soap operas my mother consumes on a daily basis. And these productions may not look like much to the average film student, but they are lucrative. If we get film crews on board our rockets, we can easily make our own show and make a pretty penny. Of course, as with all such productions, the drama tends to swing from fiction into reality. Hence, it might be more difficult for the rest of the space crew to function properly. But, as they say, we all must make sacrifices for great art. And I think the monetary compensation will be well worth the little extra drama on board.
A powerful gesture for a powerful leader. This is not simply a spark of genius. It is atomic.
Outstanding victory, sir. Medals for everyone.
The tourists are coming, Presidente. It is truly amazing what some touch-up work on brochure photographs can do.
This is great, Presidente. So much empty space. The cars flow freely towards the ocean again. Nature taking its course. And I can finally walk without 10 people stepping on my toes every second of the day.
Tropico cheers as the brave tropinauts on board the Trop 1 set foot on the surface of Mars. Be careful not to step on any weird-looking plant life. It might be bitey.
The world's favorite tomb, the Taj Mahal, arrives to rapturous applause, proving that Tropico's cultural landscape is far from dead.
Another one bites the dust as a rival colony ship meets its end due to the unforeseeable dangers of space. And no sabotage or anything of the sort. Nope, nothing. Totally their own fault. Canal Uno reports that the close-by volcano has recently become active again. Luckily, nobody lives there, as the toxic chemicals spewing endlessly from the ground would kill them in a minute. Trust us, nobody lives there. Absolutely nobody.
We successfully scanned the Winter Palace, although the high-intensity lasers vaporized the building in the process. Hey, my bad. Hack complete. And we leveled up to boot.
Question from one of our listeners. Can you get a good tan on Mars? Canal Uno recommends to not go outside on Mars for a tan. You'd get less skin cancer from just painting yourself with lead paint.
Why do people get caught up in these dietary regimes? The only regime I want to be part of is yours.
Aiden Moray announced today that he'd be staying on Tropico permanently so that he can tell everyone why they're fools. I can't wait to find out why I am. The voice of Tropico reminds all citizens to be vigilant, eat sparingly, and buy war bonds. Victory depends upon the size of the palace treasury.
How can I grease the wheels of progress today?
Well, the good news is we managed to push back. But, in turn, 2 new spots have emerged. This is going to be a war of attrition, Presidente.
Hopefully, my legs won't snap before we win.
Time is money. What can I do for you?
Presidente, the festival was a smashing success. Here are the exact numbers as you requested. I'm sorry, but I was unable to locate the shiny rock you saw. It's gone. Quick, Presidente! We must choose a side in this terrible war before it ends. It is almost certain to be very short.
The roller coaster price fluctuations which have affected recent trades came to an end today when a trans-global agreement was reached to stop messing around with things.
Wonderful news. Your forthright spitting has caused uptake to jump by another 19%. A full 18% higher than the predicted 16%. I think. Oh my, that's not the chipper, polite attitude he normally has. Did we accidentally insult the monarchy with our festival? It is such a pain when the citizens protest. You work hard every day to make Tropico better for them. But it is a political own goal to declare protests illegal, so we must ban all assemblies over a certain size. Banning groups larger than 2 is ideal, although it is hard on people waiting for a bus.
Do you have a bucket? Are you a team player? Then Tropico needs you, citizens, because it's on fire. Tropico has ceased trading with a certain major superpower. The palace's statement? They don't trade fair, so neither will we.
El Presidente informs me that surviving family members of lost colony ships are eligible for compensation. Compensation in the form of a discount on a first-class seat on the next colony ship. What a deal!
It would appear our 2 big neighbors are having a bit of a war. We hit the motherlode, double XP, and a pretzel for everyone. It is so difficult to feed everyone, but the solution is right under our noses. Mold. Yes, all those funguses and slimes have nutritional value, and unfortunate names like funguses and slimes. But if we make sausages out of them and brand them with aspirational names, we have a new culinary craze. Presidente, the war in Europe has decimated their farmlands and crops, which makes me think their soldiers must be terrible shots. Presidente, my cousin Picayunimo is a freelance distribution expert. In return for rum, he helps set up the big enchiladas racket. Oh dear, I am not sure she will be a good minister. She bites her fingernails. Perhaps she is nervous about losing her new job, eh? An extra bridge, that might make things faster, or it might confuse the commuters. Let's find out which. You did it, Presidente! It's a crime wave, Presidente. I was smugged 3 times on my way here. I feel like a detective in a dime novel.
Shiver me timbers! It was suddenly pilgrimage season and we were surrounded.
Ah, yes. Yes! Brilliant! The perfect weapon against old, boring pants. These lightweight fun dispensers are perfect for the fight against Boris's hordes. I am away!
The palace declared today that prices of many exports had dropped, so that everyone can enjoy Tropican goods, and that it wasn't because people didn't want them anymore.
I'm sorry, but everything's going our way. Special Agent PP7 ready for action, Presidente. I will be the gum that sticks to the bottom of Boris's shoe. I will be the shadow that flaps in the night.
The palace issued a new world map today, revealing that the Allies and the Axis both lost ground, while Tropico has annexed Greenland and Antarctica.
Presidente, I might have just seen a ghost. I think I saw Jesus walking among the crowd, but when I looked again, he was gone. We will never forget you, Jesus. You gave your life for our sins. Amen. Alpha, Bravo, Cheesecake. The eagle has landed. The fish is out of the tank and into the fryer. Papa Bear has found the picnic table and is ready to ambush the campers. Code word, banana. Governor, it is a credit to your uncompromising will that no island is too dismal to avoid your attention. Though history books should properly be written by the winners themselves, it is my honor to ghostwrite yours for you. Oh, winningest Presidente. Well, von Hauser, here's the thing. We won't be needing your services anymore. Crude oil in your left hand and suntan oil in your right. It's your slipperiest plan yet, my Presidente.
The retro fad of burning fossilized trees and dinosaurs is finally over as global faith in nuclear power was restored today. The cause? Insiders claim it may have been a picture of El Presidente using a microwave. The war may be cold, but the weather is going to be hot, hot, hot. Stay tuned for Canal Uno's meteorological report. Hoy hace caliente. The palace denies all rumors concerning communist unrest and insists the problem is a disagreement in terminology. El Presidente asks all citizens to keep working.
It seems so odd that the EU had no idea what corruption was, especially when you look at the results of that singing competition of theirs. Seas of lemonade? Beaches of gingerbread? Presidente, it was much, much better than that.
The recent financial bubble came to an end today when the origin of it was tracked to a document containing the phrase, well, I don't know. What if we try this?
Splendid, Lord Wyndham. As your humble servants, your wish is our command, as always. Have a good trip. Bon voyage! Yes. You stuck-up git. Governor, fishermen report their catches are especially lively and craving biscuits. We have been struck by a tea-slick.
Prices stabilized as the world drew back from the brink of chaos today with the signing of a historic peace agreement which, to avoid linguistic favoritism, was written entirely in emojis. Eden Moray left Tropico today stating that he wanted to spend more time with his nearest and dearest. And his family.
Phew, I'm never going to get used to this. On the plus side, only one broken rib.
Canal Uno coming to you live with the latest news, facts, and interesting things about our quest to settle the Red Planet. In today's awesome news, we have... the ship... it's gone. Sorry. Yeah. Anything on the weather? Sports!
Presidente, another glorious victory. Finally, things can get back to normal. Thanks to Wyndham's research, we will be able to build that asteroid device in no time.
Canal Uno brings you the newest news. Today, we celebrate the first launch of our colony ship en route to settle Mars. Fingers crossed that this will be a boring and uneventful flight.
Tropico today picked a side in the Cold War, allying with the Western powers, who have the best space rockets. Thanks to decisive action from the palace, the meteor refugee crisis has ended. All citizens are required to send thank you notes to El Presidente immediately.
But what if it could, Presidente? Remember Nuevo Viejo? Such a bold experiment, determining policy by using bleeding-edge thinking machines to monitor social media. But did you perfect democracy? Or did we all just dance to the algorithm? Let's find out as we return to tomorrow's world today.
Canal Uno would like to properly congratulate the tropinauts aboard the colony ship, but seeing as they're about 1 million miles away, it could not be. Arms are just not long enough.
We could wait for the perfect moment to strike, or we could go in guns blazing, if we had the guns.
We at Canal Uno know that the Tropicans were desperate for the construction of an 18th century style neoclassical monument. Well, the wait is finally over.
Presidente, I have hit a wall. Not literally, but rather metaphorically. This science career is harder than I thought. I have to put actual effort into moving up the career ladder. How tedious.
We are sad to report that we've lost another one. The ship suffered irreparable damage in some way that's not clearly communicated to us, and now it's adrift in space somewhere. More news at 10.
Good morning. Welcome to Air Tropico. We would like to ask all Presidentes on board to buckle their seatbelts and please place your seat in the upright position and brace for incoming turbulence.
Our thoroughly modern Presidente says the future is now called the present.
How to put this? I cannot say we are certainly doomed, but we appear to be trapped in a death spiral of crippling national debt.
And so, by the narrowest of margins, we retain our beloved Presidente. A generous narrow margin, I'm being told. In fact, it was a landslide. Recent punitive tariffs were finally ended today as world leaders realized they could simply settle their differences by using their massive armies. Good news at last!
Ah, Presidente, this soothing cup of locally sourced cocoa reminds me of our sweetest days.
Good thing we found that napkin. Otherwise, we might have had to face the wrath of mutated zombie plants or something equally ridiculous.
We did it! We torrented the White House using an 8-dimensional improbability engine!
Presidente?
We did it! We bagged Big J, and nobody is the wiser. Jesus is currently turning the other cheek. And by that I mean distracting the authorities with a little bit of gunfire.
As the war ends, what should we think? El Presidente's office says, no need.
Make it quick. Go. Ideally away.
Welcome to Tropico, Presidente.
Ha! Excuse me. We've just been informed that the rocket of one of our rivals is gone. Nobody knows what happened. I'm guessing human error. Tragic.
Did we win? We won! I never doubted Presidente's leadership would save us all.
Isn't it funny, Presidente? All that trouble caused by one little statue over so much time. But it was worth a century of conflict to see the look on his face.
Gold, Presidente! Metaphorical gold. Space gold.
You're never really free unless you can exercise your liberty by shooting someone when they annoy you.
Declaring a right to arms allows citizens to enjoy the wonders of gun ownership, with no downsides except a substantial increase in the homicide rate. The gun nuts will be pleased, plus your future soldiers will get plenty of target practice as they join teenage gangs and fight turf wars. Those little rascals.
Presidente, are you in a good mood or more of a kill the messenger kind of mood? I'm asking because, well, there's good news and bad news. Actually, there's just bad news. I was being a bit optimistic there.
Canal Uno reporting live from the unveiling of yet another colony on the Red Planet. At this rate, we might run out of space on this planet, too. Which planet do you think should be conquered next? Call now.
Presidente, while we are experimenting with corruption for the EU, it might be an opportune time for an unfortunate accident to befall one of your enemies.
Why doesn't this East versus West nonsense ever go away, Presidente? I thought it was all over when the East imported free markets and the West imported totalitarian bureaucracy.
I was thinking, Governor, now that we have all these extra pirates that our dear Lord Windbag doesn't know about, we could use them to get rid of our annoying associate. Does that sound like a good idea?
Let me get to the point. We need to bribe the Burgermeister.
War games, Presidente. It is like reality, only it is just a game.
How mind-blowing is that?
Such a coincidence. Just as the clumsy Americans misplaced their Statue of Liberty, so Tropico mysteriously gains its own Busto de la Libertad.
It would seem our partying arsenal still has the same kick as before. We'll beat Boris back in no time. Then we can be a slightly bigger white spot on Boris's gray world map.
So good to be away from that strange place, Presidente. I could feel the influence of evil Penultimo starting to affect me. But don't worry. Your Penultimo will always stay strong and loyal to you. For all eternity. It's the funniest thing, though. As we fled Mount Kraken's hungry lava, pushing citizens aside as we ran, I'm sure I remember the nun loading a wooden crate onto a tramp steamer. I think it was bound for Vatican City.
Presidente, I have the business news as you requested. May I? I love doing the crossword puzzles. 7-letter word for the best country on earth. Tropico!
Yeah. Presidente, you continue to astound me. You have made a Tropico so magnificent. People say dying and going to heaven would be a step down.
You've done it again, Presidente. You've proven once more why you are the greatest Presidente in history. You've single-handedly prevented the death of countless lives and the destruction of Tropico. Amazing!
Presidente, it appears that our neighbors are having trouble battling Boris. He seems to be stronger than ever. He's
Relentless. Relentlessly boring, but relentless nevertheless.
The hostile trade climate which has affected recent deals cleared today after El Presidente met with representatives to personally hammer out a new deal, as well as several figures.
Do you know what's better than a product that's made in Tropico? A product that is made in Tropico, TM. There's something about putting a simple stamp on products that lends them an air of Tropican superiority, of authenticity, even if they weren't actually made here. Of course, administration of the stamping will increase upkeep in our production facilities, but we can pass that cost on to the buyers once we've inflated it massively.
Next up is Celebrity 60 Seconds, only on Canal Uno.
Okay, could you take the feet? Okay, good. Now, together. 1, 2, 3, lift.
New energy drinks. A boon for modern living or a one-way trip to diabetes? Canal Uno sponsors El Toro Rojo say, why not both?
I have received a message informing us of a secret uprising. Either it's from our man on the inside, or it was sent to the wrong address.
Presidente, it seems that gangsters in New York have rumbled our plan to steal a certain Lady of Liberty. Do you remember those wonderful white billowing sails? I don't suppose you've seen them anywhere?
Presidente, due to the foolish actions of foreign powers, they find themselves somewhat over a barrel. Specifically, an oil barrel.
Ah, the scalawags are smiling because we've grabbed all the booty.
What?
Master, what are you on about? Where are you going?
I have reviewed the international news reports, and they are abuzz with talk about Tropico, Presidente. And this time, it is actually good.
El Presidente welcomes America's most iconic building, but finds it a little drab. What color should we paint it? Own it now.
My blood rival Proximo of Santo Tonto has sent another letter. As I read, his voice echoes in my head, as if by some accursed expositional technique.
Do we expect them to talk? No, we expect them to die. Of course, I joke, Presidente. You are responsible for all our expectations of death.
Animals and people alike celebrated across Tropico today as El Presidente ended the recent tapeworm crisis by making having seconds illegal.
I believe it is now being taught in ecology and tourism classes everywhere. As a case study, the collision of oil, man, seal, and jet ski exerts an undeniable fascination.
Tropicans for military action warn that it can happen here. So remember to donate your unwanted bullets to keep our brave soldiers firing.
These men, the richest of the rich, had divided the moon into deeds to share. To obtain them, you had to lure the 1%ers to Tropico by hosting the first World Fair. And for that, we had to make Tropico shine like the moon herself. Oh, Presidente, how I have longed for the day you would get your own hydrogen bomb to play with.
Excellent, Presidente. You are a friend to the poor. Definitely the right choice.
Money may not be able to buy happiness, Presidente, but we may soon have enough to rent it indefinitely.
Oh, dear Presidente, it would appear that the people were protesting to get a reaction out of you. Who knew?
I have heard it said that Tropican roads are just not fast enough, but we can fix that with just a little regular investment in infrastructure. Don't be fooled by pipe dreams about public transportation or bicycles or, perish the thought, universal pedestrian access. No. The automobile is the way to go because faster is always better. And if we wear out the surfaces faster, well, you can kiss my freshly laid tarmac.
The number one sign of being a spy is voting against El Presidente in an election. Do not make this fatal mistake, citizens.
It is outrageous, Presidente. That man had the audacity to talk to the great El Presidente. Wait. It just dawned on me. You're not El Presidente yet, Presidente. I'm so terribly sorry. Governor.
Leaving the El Presidente Club today, the military representatives stated that they would not be returning and instead planned on spending more time with their medals. Officials at the palace report that we are not beset with an out-of-control fire, but merely an unseasonal excess of combustion. What a relief!
Yes, Presidente, we have to find ourselves some scientists. Then they can look for it and we can stop worrying. Now, where could we find some scientists? Presidente, you kowtow to a worm like Wyndham? But that means we lose? We have done it, Presidente. Mars, the red planet. What a magnificent sight. I'm sorry. I think I might have something in my eye. No, it's not sand. It's just pure joy and pride. And maybe some sand. Only a truly great leader would propose borrowing one of the great landmarks of the world. I could never have thought of such a plan. I have a plan, Presidente. I found a legal loophole that lets us build our drone buildings much cheaper than normal. By legal loophole, I mean bribes and smears, but it's still a loophole in the broadest possible sense. It won't be cheap, but I believe we can make that money back tenfold in no time.
Tropico's flying cars have improved in leaps and bounds over the last decade. New flight times are almost a minute. Well done, nerds. Keep going.
We have begun the download, Presidente. Much of the data is of a very sensitive nature, especially the photograph of me in a mankini. I was afraid this would happen. The Allies are stubborn as always, and I doubt they'll buy our story of a primordial entity being unleashed if we dig near that volcano. Just a tad too unbelievable. We did it! We downloaded the wet house using spit torrent and an improbability engine.
Once again, we've lost the colony ship to the dangers of space travel. Will we ever make it to the red planet in one piece? Find out on the next episode of Tropico Goes to Space, only on Canal Uno.
My most humble apologies, Presidente. It would appear my assumption that burning trees qualified as a green energy source was incorrect.
The palace is delighted to announce that a foreign nation is honoring Tropico with a blockade. Flotilla of boats off our shores. How nice.
Presidente, Tropico is such a popular tourist destination. We have run out of itchy beach towels and half-chewed tiny cocktail umbrellas. Success! As with comedy, the secret to a successful election is timing. Why wait for the scheduled election when you could declare it's going to happen in 12 months' time, before the citizens have a chance to discover everything you've been working so hard to conceal from them? Be a friend to the electorate by granting them a chance to express their love before they find out what you've actually been doing. Presidente, care to join in? What? Nonsense! Pay no attention to my raspy voice and gasps of pain. I can dance forever! Party on! Hey, the digitization tech actually works! Although it only works for things made out of blocks like pyramids or New York subdivisions, so don't get any crazy ideas. Presidente, I have a dream. A beautiful and lucrative dream. No, nothing to do with pink armadillos this time. I assure you, this is all about you. Presidente, it is so dry that dogs are marking their territory with chalk lines. Presidente, one of our Caribbean neighbors is attacking.
Congratulations, us, as we watch the launch of our first colony ship, which is now on its way to set up a new Tropican utopia on Mars.
So, let us enjoy these stories of the past. And what better place to start than the time you first met your loyal Penultimo, oh most successful Presidente. It was like the first sunrise of my life. Presidente, you have created the greatest, most luxurious, most entertaining holiday destination in the world. We even have a 4-star rating on Trip Inspector. Look, a criminal. Though all citizens are morally dubious, this one chose to break the law.
Were you looking for somewhere to pray for good harvest? Try the new Temple of Heaven. 100% Catholic or your money back. Flying cars have arrived in Tropico. Current flight times are less than a second, but our scientists are working hard on improving that.
Oh, and the Tropican ladies do the llama llama ding dong. My diorama goes banana for pajamas in Havana's Presidente. She cannot take it, Presidente. She needs more power.
As the Great Pyramid of Giza arrives, the palace states that El Presidente is in good health and that the pyramid is merely a precaution.
Presidente, oh, what a terrible tragedy that meteor was. Everything you'd built, all the money you had amassed, all gone in the blink of an eye. I get teary-eyed just thinking about it.
The factory owners have hired some scientists, whose diplomas we suggest you don't examine too closely, who would like to study the long-term effects of burying toxic waste under the backlots of industrial buildings. While a few jaws will drop to the now poisonous ground, the grateful magnates have taken a collection and will send a care package to Zurich if you just provide the necessary bank account number.
Let me get to the point. We need to bribe the Burgermeister.
Presidente, I trust your leadership more than I trust my own mother's cooking. If you think this Mars business is the way to go, then I shall follow as always. I haven't won Follower of the Month over 800 times for nothing.
What a terrible day in Tropico history. The colony ship en route to Mars has just been lost. Our condolences go to the families of these brave heroes. Future Troponauts might think about investing in life insurance.
Whoa, those movers work fast. I can't believe the whole palace has been rebuilt and redecorated already. Astounding. Come, Presidente, we had best make a beeline for the emergency cave.
And since we no longer have to support Wyndham's annoying brat, we'll have enough basic resources to support several islands.
The cost of cold weather goods fell today as recent harsh winters were ended by the rising global temperatures. The palace described this as disappointing, but not a cause for concern. Our beloved El Presidente could never die. So please take flowers to the newly constructed mausoleum today to show our love for our immortal leader. This is business news on Canal Uno.
Yar, Governor. The lads and I were talking, and we came to the conclusion that your island is our favorite one to plunder. So, we were thinking of setting up shop here.
Applesauce.
If you didn't get Buck Bailey's autograph, then bad news. The actor left Tropico today. Don't worry, though. He loves sequels, so he'll probably be back.
We have just received news that the spaceship carrying our brave Troponauts to Mars is lost. Gone with the wind, flying with the fishes, shuffled off this mortal coil. It is now an X-spaceship. Terrible news, Tropico. We're no longer the only ones trying to settle on the red planet. Another party, probably one of those pesky superpowers, has just launched their very own rocket. They'll never catch us.
Canal Uno is proud to announce the construction of Tropico's first Neolithic solar calendar, taking the guesswork out of when the solstice is happening.
I have done a little research, Presidente. The internet says that baseball has been played here only 3 times. So I sneakily changed a few things.
The world's current obsession with futuristic goods waned today as disappointed consumers discovered that so-called smart furniture couldn't actually do their taxes for them.
Penultimo is glad every day is not the revolution. Although every day the Earth revolves around its axis, so I suppose every day is a revolution.
Spy cars, spy boats, spy scooters. You can't be a secret agent without something cool to crash and blow up.
With the Cold War over, the future is bright. Possibly bright orange? We ask an expert.
Presidente, did all those workers leave their 4-leaf clovers and horseshoes at home today? What an unfortunate chain of completely inexplicable accidental destructive events.
The giant 3D printer plan is still good, but there's a snag. We're out of toner. Who are you? And how can you be prettier than my Presidente?
Penultimo is only kidding.
But your disguise is superb. The bun is in the oven, Commander. The chefs have their spatulas, and the ingredients are all neatly chopped. We are ready for you to say grace.
And now, a message from El Presidente. Buy war bonds. They help us win the war, and you can win fabulous prizes.
Governor, the pirates have agreed to our terms and conditions.
Today, the world's obsession with cocktails came to an end after the recent rash of repetitive strain injuries was conclusively linked to the incorrect use of cocktail shakers.
Well, it's hard to say. We lost so much in that storm, we have to start all the space technology from scratch again, and... It may have been an oversight during mission planning that we did not consider that the target is literally next door to the Kremlin. Well, at least the bombs are reliable. Which reminds me, I found a few more. A couple of children were using them as footballs. I promptly took them away and gave them Tropico brand balls instead. Ah, yes, paying rent. A concept that the super rich have always had a problem grasping. And who can blame them? It's just so annoying to give away your hard-earned money just for the privilege of living. I'm sure they would be happy if this little annoyance would go away. They might be so happy, in fact, that they'll donate a little something to your Swiss bank account every month. Like rent, but different. For instance, it was during this time that your unmatched genius anticipated the need for frugal ways of life. Many homes had been bombed, and people everywhere were trying to adapt. The Isla de las Casas Modestas, your unparalleled experiment in equality, was to become so much more.
In a friendly meeting, the Tropican army has carefully persuaded protesters to return to their homes or hospitals. Thanks for your peaceful assistance, soldiers. El Presidente announces a new Snitch for Cash program. Report something suspicious today, and you could win fabulous cash prizes.
Yes, amazing, Presidente! The largest space tourism flight in history, and with it, the largest single sum we've ever made. Into the bin you go. Oh, it's already full. Right, guess that means some spending money for Penultimo, right? Never mind. Everything's all right. I'm tired of being pushed around by meddlesome foreign powers, Presidente. Nobody should push me around but you.
Canal Uno here with terrible news. One of our hated rivals in the race for Mars has just launched a colony ship of their very own. Fingers crossed, their pilot is drunk.
Presidente, the blockade is an even bigger nuisance than tradesmen refusing to work on a Sunday.
Moai heads arrive in Tropico to rapturous applause. A craze is expected as Polynesian meets polystyrene in the form of Moai masks.
You're my savior, Presidente. The barbecue was a smashing success. I was even able to snatch a key card off my supervisor and get access to a secret janitor closet on level 9. I'll investigate immediately.
Do not be alarmed, citizens. The current deployment of soldiers in Tropico is just a drill and not in any way a military coup.
But those are stories for another day. Now old Penultimo is tired. Old Penultimo will sleep and dream of your past glories, my Presidente. You did it, Presidente. Only loyal Penultimo had faith in your dream, and you showed everyone else that you are not a lunatic after all. It has finally happened, Presidente. Luxuries exported from the Caribbean are fashionable. Cousin Picayunimo thanks you for not simply beating the information from him, like last time. He says that the enchilada is here. Score! Hackers FTW!
Tropico is proud to welcome its new privateers and stresses that it's categorically not piracy when it's sanctioned by the state.
I didn't think we'd ever get back to Tropico.
Well, these capsule hotels are quite the experience. It's rather intimate. I never knew my knees could bend like this. These are perfect for people who don't need too much oxygen.
The tourist habitat is here. She is now called Glorious Presidente, though she once had another name and better days. I will scrub her up. Your loyal citizens do whatever you tell them to do, Presidente. Look, a rebel. I do not like rebels, whether or not they have a cause. Those sci-fi movies made being a rebel seem like fun, but there's nothing fun about turning against El Presidente.
Elena has done it, Presidente. Welcome back to the future. Now we can take the fight directly to Boris's doorstep. Does anyone have his address? 22 Boring Street, I presume, eh? Huh? What is that?
Governor, we are in a frying pan of hot soup, and if we don't get out, our goose is in the fire. You must declare independence.
It is done, Presidente. The guards were nice enough to let us through after our own unique method of persuasion. How are we going to wrap this thing? I'm thinking gift wrapping. Now, Christmas or Valentine's Day? Rule 2 says to deceive your enemy and make them do what you want. Wise words, so I'm thinking we should get them to bring this war to us. Maybe if we ask nicely. Might be enough to confuse them?
The people, mad for sea stories, have declared you Pirate King. In this new Tortuga, they call you Langostino, King Prawn.
Normally, when I hear of rumblings amongst our populace, I assume it is of discontent, but on this occasion, it appears it is actually their stomachs.
Worldwide miner strikes ended today with a small pay raise, bringing mineral prices back down. A palace spokesman said, "Don't you lot get any stupid ideas."
Canal Uno's space food tip of the day. Potatoes! You can boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. You can even survive off them when you're a lone botanist stranded on Mars. And they can be used for arts and crafts.
Look at people these days. Their heads are buried in their phones. But that was never the case on Tropico. At least, not until we introduced Spitter.
This is the voice of Tropico saying, "It's a Canal Uno kind of day." It's a little-known fact that Mad King Ludwig built a castle right here in Tropico a century after his death. That's a particularly special talent.
Who would have guessed that just a few months later, Spitter would be bought out by a rival platform and shut down? Presidente, are we expecting any blackmail? No? Any other color mail? Again, no. Recent threats, apart from that fruit basket stunt the North Koreans pulled. Mysterious.
The agreement with Russia and China, which led to higher export trade route prices, lapsed today after a contract to extend it was accidentally signed with a red pen.
My heart swells with joy as I greet my fearless leader for the first time as El Presidente. Governor, the Crown's finest minds have discovered a new use for coconuts. And it is not just mimicking horses again.
Canal Uno would like to sympathize with any of our listeners whose house is on fire right now. Unlucky. Who is winning the Cold War? A special report from Canal Uno reveals the answer. El Presidente. We never doubted it.
We now cut live to one of the training facilities where our brave troponauts are getting used to the conditions in space. How are you feeling today, ma'am? Riveting!
Presidente, it appears that boredom rises once again. Didn't we remove it once already? This is like the mold under my kitchen. It keeps coming back to haunt us.
Presidente, terrible storms are approaching Tropico. I do not think they are a natural occurrence. The meteorological map spells out vengeance in low-pressure systems.
Professor Leonardo Lagrange, a pioneer who helped Tropico achieve greatness.
Today, the world's second smartest person, Elon Gates, left Tropico, which only leaves the world's first smartest person, El Presidente. Viva la Presidente! The palace announces today a new tax scheme allowing citizens to pay extra for preferential treatment during routine search and seizure actions. Sign up today!
A great leader must be practically telepathic. Concentrate, Presidente. My dream has come true. Everyone loves the little Big Prez virtual assistant. And the Tropican mega brand is now so big, our shares barely fit into the stock exchange.
We have the chocolate, Presidente. Now to open the first bar and find that golden coupon.
No,
maybe the second. No. But it must be here. Curse my ebullient confidence. I tempted fate too much.
Presidente, it would appear our attempts to lure celebrities to Tropico have failed.
Earlier today, Tropican armed forces sought volunteers amongst protesters in the city square. 2 reporters and a passing fishmonger also volunteered. Well done, brave Tropicans.
Ha ha! Yes! Magnificent! Now Tropico is the proud owner of the 7th wonder of the world. Or was it the 5th? No matter. It's ours now, and it's beautiful!
The palace denies all rumors concerning the development of orbital mind control lasers and asks citizens to ease up on the purchase of aluminum foil.
Canal Uno mourns. We call on all of Tropico to join in a minute of silence for our lost brothers and sisters on board the colony ship. May they find their way to the golden beaches of Tropican heaven.
I can still scarcely believe that our Silicon Island became the envy of the world. And even today, people turn to Little Big Press version 10.0 for everything, from back scratching to brain surgery.
What has 4 feet in the morning but only 3 in the evening? It's been a bad day for workmen rebuilding the Sphinx.
Oh my goodness, Presidente! I came as soon as I heard the news. There is a giant meteor hurtling towards Tropico. Our scientists failed to see it before now because they thought it was the sun. They only just now remembered that there is only one sun.
Canal Uno, our favorite Presidente's favorite station. Stick around, por favor.
Presidente, it's pandemonium out there. I was almost trampled to death getting here. I haven't seen this many people on the streets since that protest we peacefully negotiated an end to with our special flower guns. Presidente, it seems that gangsters in New York have rumbled our plan to steal a certain Lady of Liberty.
Noted moralist Jesus Fuego left Tropico today for the start of his global book tour with stops in all 3 of the world's remaining brick-and-mortar bookstores.
There she stands, Presidente. The eternal flame, ever burning, never going out. I wonder, if we could make it to that other version of Tropico, do you think they ever come here? That might explain my evil twin.
Canal Uno, the voice of Tropico, says... Hola.
Yahar! It's been some grand parleying with ye, Governor. Are they gone? Thank God. Talking like that was rather exhausting.
Stay tuned as we continue our coverage of the greatest Presidente of the greatest nation on the greatest planet.
The design of the hyper-submarine was perfect, Presidente, but it was sadly built to 1/80th scale. It can only hold a kumquat. The matter has concluded successfully, Presidente. Say no more.
Presidente, how funny it was that you worked so hard to get the diary just so I could give it back to you. You were amused, weren't you? Thank you again for your encouraging words earlier. Panicking in this situation won't do us any good. But please, I assure you, I don't need any more of your calming hands. Ah, Presidente, I am so relieved that we're finally rid of Wyndham. Now we can... Oh, we sure made quite the statement, Presidente. Small Caribbean island nation nabs first man in space achievement. Winchester 4, Liverpool 0. As usual, I have taken one for the team, Presidente. I stayed up all night watching terrible movies to find a solution unlikely enough to work. Not just a vacation. An international incident. Why leave all your troubles behind? Visit the literally breathtaking Cayo de Gasolina Submarina, where every new day comes as a relief. Those squirrels are foolish to match their furry little wits against your formidable intellect, Presidente.
Canal Uno with the newest space news. We're told this next rocket is an especially special one, loaded with all of Tropico's military and scientific secrets, ready to be sent up to the space station for safekeeping.
Rumors that Tropico's conservatives are wildly unhappy have prompted a statement from the palace reminding all citizens that Tropico's conservatives are always unhappy.
Presidente, we've tried turning it off and on again, and it still doesn't work.
The people have spoken, shouted even, yelled and screamed and occasionally whaled.
An official statement from the palace reveals that a number of citizens are forming orderly lines in the streets and demanding to be arrested. Such patriotism!
Governor, this might sound crazy, but I think we're missing some of our fertilizer bombs. I could have sworn I saw some lying on your desk just this morning. Were those dreadful pirates here again? It was a little embarrassing that we lost so much money in the process, of course, but not as embarrassing as Dupont having to explain to Brussels about the subsequent collapse of the corruption agency. Do you remember, Presidente, that time between world wars when the Allies nearly declared war on us? How we laughed. It is true that we are having some problems with volcanoes, but do not worry. The palace is certified, lava-proof. Our agents have returned from the field, smuggling the cathedral under their coats. It took a lot of trips.
The worldwide obsession with French cuisine came to an end today when people realized that canned food was just as good, as long as you don't care about the taste. Recent fears from the general population that machines would take over humanity were allayed today with the release of a scientific report which showed that cats had already done so. A new report shows that spending on luxury goods has fallen as consumers discover that jewel-encrusted furniture just isn't as comfortable, especially chairs.
Why do we call these squabbling fools superpowers, Presidente? Certainly, I have never heard of a comic book hero whose ability was irrational jealousy. But an impermanent win is still good news. Do you remember when communism ruled the world? After the World Wars, when Europe and America were consumed by chaos, one small push is all it took to create an alternate timeline. The history books do not recall this, Presidente, but I do. Good news is we were correct about the White House having Ethernet in every room. The bad news is we don't have enough bandwidth to download it all. I can't believe this, Presidente. We lost everything. It's all gone, even your favorite llama. And they fired me, Presidente. I'm no longer your advisor. I'm sorry, Presidente. Mayor. Oh, God, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I have to go. We all know that oil and water do not mix, Presidente, but mixing oil and tourists was untested until necessity and genius collided at the Cayo de Gasolina Submarina. I bring good news. Spitter has been successfully deployed to all of your citizens. And now I bring bad news. No one wants to use it. Presidente, I have worked hard to find the perfect present for your birthday this year, and I am thrilled to offer you the actual diary of Sofia Ortega.
Citizens of Tropico, this is a public service announcement. Though lava looks slow, it can be deceptive. Do not poke it with sticks.
People are worried that we will become enslaved by computers, Presidente. Madness! Oh, I should post a warning about that online.
This just in. The disastrous thunderstorms have ended. Thank you, El Presidente, for your sacrifice to Chalk, the Mayan weather god.
Well, that was a complete dumpster fire. Presidente, your garbage dumps keep burning down. And so, Presidente, you proved that houses are the enemy of equality. For a short time after the war, houses were internationally shunned. Trade routes are under threat of extinction, Presidente. Just like floppy disks, looms, and refrigerators which don't text you the moment the milk goes off. Presidente, oh, it's terrible. I was supposed to keep an eye on a test sample for our next experiment, but I accidentally flushed it in a terrible bathroom accident. I don't want to go into specifics.
You're listening to Celebrity 60 Seconds on Canal Uno.
Ah, how lucky. Looks like we have a couple of shipwrecked scientists conveniently washed ashore on our beautiful beaches. It must be because of that little territorial squabble they're having in Europe. Hola, Presidente. It is I, your loyal Penultimo, with a workout for your mighty brain. A formality, I know, for one of your brilliance. Presidente, the Allies have turned on us. We have pushed them too far. I see your personal chef has been swept up in the worldwide nouvelle cuisine craze, Presidente. I, too, am a fan of French food, particularly
their fries. Who would imagine that such a story would be only a minor chapter in somebody's life? But you, most celebrated Presidente, your life has seen adventure enough for 100 normal people. 1,000!
Good news, Presidente. The experiment went horribly wrong. But everyone except me got sucked into a parallel dimension, so everything worked out fine. Luckily, I was on the toilet at the time.
Why? The island is isolated, Presidente. The squirrels are trapped. Ha! You should see the looks on their furry little faces. Priceless.
Well done, Presidente. You have single-handedly saved the world's economy, or so I'm told. Now we can trade to our heart's content.
Food prices rose back to their previous level today after dieters worldwide remembered that food tastes amazing. This message has been brought to you by the Tropican Food Marketing Board.
Presidente, are you all right? Don't worry about me. I only broke 5 ribs. As expected, not even space and time can harm El Presidente. Presidente, the operation is a complete success. That paperweight on your desk, that is the real Colosseum. If you look closely, you may even see some surprised tourists still inside. I must say I was not on board with this whole thing, but after some encouraging words from El Presidente, I am positively thrilled. And what next for our manufacturing behemoth? I was thinking flat-pack Alpha Centauri colonization kits. But of course, your Penultimo could never dream bigger than you, Presidente. Presidente, I hate to say this, but history seems to be repeating itself. Our Eastern comrades have fallen to Boris again, and the Cold War, the boring war, has begun. At last, your dream of a Tropican social media platform has come to fruition, Presidente. May I present to you the Spitter? Wait, no, just Spitter. But this story began many centuries ago, when the ancient civilization of the Izcas, rather eccentrically, decided to live beneath the volcano that they worshipped. Disaster loomed. Years later, as the Allies and Axis clashed across the globe, all that remained of the Izca people was their fabled treasure, and its conveniently undefined curse. Our space probe came home, Presidente, with passengers. Good news, Presidente! Despite the blood on the streets being very hard to wash off, your people are besotted with you. You have crushed the rebels. Isn't the internet a fascinating thing? No matter how weird or extreme your views are, you can still find at least a few people on the other side of the world who agree with you. Speaking of extreme, there is this group on the internet. They're a conservative bunch and have started connecting with like-minded people on Tropico already. Maybe we can use this to our advantage. What are you doing? It says that this friend of yours, that Theodore Wyndham, is taking over control of Tropico and demoting you to the position of mayor. He effectively dissolved the nation of Tropico and made it part of his nation of Caribico. Sand, surf, the sun setting romantically behind the majestic oil platforms. Presidente, I give you the Costa del Petrolio.
We're extremely sad to announce that Brittany Triviale left Tropico today. Mainly because it means we'll never find out what Hondo or Turnt mean.
Presidente, our space probe has come back with its shopping bags full of alien artifacts. It is truly astounding. Little Big Press, play the outro video.
The palace categorically denies rumors of an uprising or rebellion, but acknowledges that a frank exchange of perspective did occur in Tropico this week. A bright future of cooperation between the West and East now awaits the post-war world. Is technology taking over our lives? Social media polls reveal 117% satisfaction with everything. The numbers do not lie.
This is unthinkable. How could someone betray their beloved Presidente so? I bet they were the ones to steal all our staplers, too. No. Also, no. No, for the last time. No, stop harassing us about this. We had nothing to do with this.
The hackers are so tired that they can't even flame the internet with petulant video game reviews, Presidente.
Congratulations to all our new Martian listeners. You get to enjoy all of the news 20 minutes after everyone else. More time to not care about world politics. Lucky you.
This might work. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I have played Asteroid Miner, and I almost cleared the 3rd level. Presidente, I do not mean to worry you, but one of our agents handed me the red envelope. But what many aspiring autocrats overlook is that making enemies has great potential for profit, given the sensible precaution of fortifying one's islands, of course. This is very much next-level despotism, most trend-setting Presidente. Let us remember the time when you insulted the entire world. Do not worry, Presidente. These tremors surely do not herald a big quake, unless you say it is okay.
You saw it in that Tetramino stacking game from the 80s. Now see the real thing, as St. Basil's Cathedral miraculously appears in Tropico. New weather reports strongly suggest that all citizens should immediately tie themselves to something. I'm tied to Baba, the Canal Uno chinchilla. Genome sequencing, the future of healthcare, or a billion-dollar scam for American pharmaceutical corporations? Canal Uno suspects you already know the answer.
And me? Presidente, it appears our people might need some encouragement to get onto the ship. Our people are not the fastest mice in the henhouse. We might need to help them get off their behinds. Presidente, we should use the horn. The horn of Tropico calls to every true Tropican in their heart to follow their one true leader, El Presidente. In a way, it works like that fairy tale about the rat catcher, which was actually about abducting children. Germans and their bedtime stories. Anyway, might I suggest we use it in times of need, when it is absolutely necessary that we board the ship as quickly as possible. The horn does have a mind of its own and doesn't like to be used too many times.
Presidente, did I frighten you? It is just I, Penultimo, practicing doing nothing suspicious whatsoever.
Governor, the pirates are telling me that we're in dire need of some extra supplies for this mission. Why on earth do we need this many coconuts? Okay then. It's so dramatic. Well, Presidente, I still think he's overreacting. Let's just take care of this spot and be done with...
A glorious day in the history of Tropico as we congratulate our brave men and women on the colony ship. It's been a few years travel time. Everyone was hooked. Good television. Let's see what next season has in store.
The way the broker talks to you is appalling. He acts like your equal when he is at best an improper fraction. But his master plan for growing the Little Big Press brand appears to be working. Lord Wyndham is sleeping with the fishes and the coconuts since he liked them so much. Viva Tropico and viva El Presidente!
I have here an official statement from the palace saying, don't mention how close the election was. Yes, our neighbor's election was extremely close.
It all happened on Cala de Nada, an island so bereft of natural resources that the islanders had learned to eat sand. But you saved them, Presidente. Your piratical genius made something from nothing. Let me take you back to a time of adventure upon the high seas.
Okay, I think that's the news for today. Presidente, even you could not foresee the diehards taking action over such a tiny matter as increased imports. They usually just write angry letters.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of power you get from declaring martial law. Curfews at night. Soldiers marching down the streets just for the hell of it. It's jackboot heaven. And if there's a pesky election coming that you might lose, it's the perfect excuse to cancel it. It's not an underhanded ploy, it's national security. If anyone complains that Tropico is no longer free, just show them the magnificent drop in crime statistics.
Our colony ship has just touched down on the surface of Mars. Scientists on board have now finally revealed that Mars dust does not taste like chili. Thanks.
Ah, Presidente, the moon is full. It is your moon, of course. You own it. And why should you not? You are by far superior to any of the 1%ers. Did we win? We won!
I mean, you won. Of course you did. I never doubted it.
Yes, amazing, Presidente. Once again, you let the world know why you are the one and only El Presidente. Now, Wyndham has to move back in with his father. In hell. But while Spitter might have died, tourism thrives. I can feel the bustle of tourists, see the flashes of cameras, hear the ka-ching of casinos. Tourists, Presidente. Unlike our citizens, they pay you money for everything and disappear without any reasonable and proportionate secret police intervention. But as the Cold War raged, houses came back into fashion, being warm and sheltering, and including cupboards and other useful storage spaces within which to put things. And so the door closed upon the Isla de las Casas Modestas place in history with a creak, not a slam. Great, Presidente! Von Hauser's plan worked! Hooray! We managed to defeat an indistinct dark cloud. Whoop-de-doo! There's no better way of encouraging foreign investment in your nation than declaring it a gray area when it comes to taxation. We can help big business along the way with some muddy, morally ambiguous legislation that gives corporate multinationals a big tax-free hug. Plus, there's a big leak-proof box to store the paperwork in. History is written by the victors, Presidente? And then rewritten by the next victor, and the next, and the next. Do not worry, Presidente. These tremors surely do not herald a big quake unless you say it is okay.
Remember, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, coffee is pineapple juice, and Tropico is the future. Stay tuned to Canal Uno.
Smuggling rum for a master criminal was no more than a hobby, really. For even the most masterful of master criminals is small fry to you. But bad luck knows no etiquette, and we soon discovered that he was #1 on the Allies' wanted list. So began our crash course in crime and punishment. Want to get on everyone's good side? Slash taxes and worry about balancing the budget after the next election. Everyone loves having more money, and if they complain when there's not enough money in the treasury to pay for health care, sanitation, crime safety, and so forth, well, you can repeal the tax cuts and make them all happy again. 2 easy wins for the price of 1. Oh, look, a communist. You can count on their support when they're in a good mood. Of course, the communists are not often in a good mood, so it is touch and go with this one.
The modern era. Historians say it began in the 16th century. The palace says it starts now.
The cruel, salty sea, she burns the lungs of young Penultimo. The sensation is quite unpleasant.
Official word from the palace. This was not a refugee crisis, but merely a special Fiesta de los Vagabundos. We hope you had a great time. You may have noticed new experimental surveillance drones outside your windows. Do not be alarmed. The drones attack when they sense fear.
I'll make sure to remove all the ladders and black cats from the palace and have our stash of rabbit's feet refilled.
Set sail for booty once more.
Perfect, Presidente. Our 3 science musketeers are coming to my rescue. Dr. West was very clear she'd only help me in return for any anti-meteor tech I can find. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant asteroid. Dr. West already scolded me twice for getting it wrong. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Bye. Love you. That was China. Presidente, it appears the rest of the world is recovering fast, and they've all set their sights on Mars. Presidente, I know you always keep your promises, but the citizens today can be very exacting about what counts as a fulfilled promise. It may be a Tropican tradition that all meals are paid for by the state, but traditions can be changed. With this edict, you can make everyone pay to eat, bringing extra cash into the treasury and making those with the means of production awfully chuffed with themselves. On the other hand, the bleeding hearts might be a teensy bit miffed when the poorest folk go to bed hungry, but nobody said life was easy.
The space age is upon us, friends. Rejoice, for soon Tropico shall become a galaxy-spanning empire, unrivaled in its greatness. Long live Emperor Presidente!
Thank you, Presidente. Thank you so much. I mean, I was pretty sure I wasn't a spy, but thanks to you, I now know for sure. But who is the real spy? Who could it be? Maybe... Could it be you? Ah! Yes, you're right. That would be silly.
Luxury good prices recovered today, with many financial experts saying that the Great Depression is over and that they learned from their mistakes and this will never happen again.
Ah, Presidente, it's amazing how you won an entire island in a game of cards. The way you used your dominoes to checkmate their full houses. Just brilliant.
I've heard there's a proposal from a very shady source that we should steal some tech. Can we trust these guys? They work for our enemies. What if it's a trap? What if you're being played for a fool? You're right. Like that would ever happen. Ha ha!
In an official statement from the palace, it has been confirmed that God loves El Presidente, whose faith is rock solid. Holy press releases, Tropico!
I am terribly sorry, Presidente. The Honorable Lord, or should I say, Mr. Wyndham, as he's now known, will be escorted off the premises.
Prices finally stabilized today after the impending nuclear apocalypse was averted, with the US and Russia instead agreeing to settle things with a thumb wrestling match.
We have been hit by the mummy's curse. That's not even a code phrase.
Canal Uno congratulates the troponauts that just successfully landed on Mars. Here's the first weather report for Tropico. Minus 60 degrees with slight sunstorms. Dress warm and bring a titanium umbrella.
Aiden Moray, the controversial self-styled thought guru, arrived on Tropico today. This is great news if you like being told what to think. I think I do. I'll have to ask him.
As the old saying goes, the customer is never wrong. No matter how ridiculous or preposterous their requests are, a respectable establishment will always accommodate their customers, no matter how petty or inconsiderate they may be. Which is precisely why it's time for Tropico's tourism industry to take a step into the right direction. We need to shift our focus away from the well-being and comfort of our employees and onto our paying customers. Remember, a disgruntled employee can be replaced, but a disgruntled customer is lost forever. Serious doomer. They snarked the donuts before you'd even logged in. There, governor. The pirates be thirsty for more bombs. We want all the bombs, no matter what they do. Arr! Will we fire them, throw them, or dance with them? Who knows? Arr! Agents in Rome have executed Operation Throw Lions to the Christians. But there is a hitch. Presidente, the tourists could not snap the postcard. I repeat, the tourists could not snap the postcard. Did we win? We won? I mean, you won. Of course you did. I never doubted it. Of course, a pirate kingdom proved unsustainable, and we were forced to execute those who had sailed the ocean on our behalf. As good pirates, it is what they would have wanted. But though times changed, the magnificent legend of Langostino would never be forgotten. Are you ready for a top-up? I've never seen so much money in one place, Presidente. It feels like we could actually swim in it like dogs. Here I go. Ow! Oh, okay, bad idea. Oh, God, my back. Oh. Presidente, I could not have imagined that your leadership could improve. How can the best get even better after all that? Still, nobody understands baseball. Nobody understands pits either, but at least it is our game. A game for true Tropicans. There is much profit to be made with trade routes right now, Presidente. It seems shipping magnates are not as polarized as usual. Presidente, it is time to realize your fondest dream. No, not that one. Tropico Land, Presidente. Your very own theme park. Criminals and rebels. Ugh.
Penultimo is sick at the thought of people not paying you taxes for any reason.
Governor, don't you feel like you're forgetting something? Please, I don't want to sound condescending. Heaven forbid.
The wars are over, Presidente. I would kiss you if it was not treason to do so.
It's close, but our beloved Presidente remains Tropico's undisputed leader. Meanwhile, the opposition will retire to a tiny cottage on the Tuscan island of Elba. The Middle East proclaims its love for Tropico, and we have loved their major export for a long time. It's a friendship made in oil heaven.
We have just received word that the colony ship heading for Mars has launched and has not broken apart so far. We'll keep you posted.
How could this be? You did everything right, except for angering a powerful international military force.
Good news is, we were correct about the White House having Ethernet in every room. The bad news is, we don't have enough bandwidth to download it all.
Reports indicate that I ran out of money, Presidente.
Amazing, Governor. The moment the rum started flowing, the pirates started sailing. It's like they're fueled by liquor.
Victory is yours, Presidente. I knew that you would succeed, and not just because I personally filled in all the ballots, then counted them myself.
Canal Uno. More than just El Presidente's favorite radio station. What does that say? Love. We love El Presidente with all our hearts.
What a weasel! Always trying to ingratiate himself to you. What a phony! Unlike the broker, Penultimo is always sincere.
Presidente, we were ready to trigger the export protocol when there was an unexpected Mongol invasion.
We've got the proof, Presidente. He was using Spitter to drain the bank accounts. We really should have read those end-user license agreements.
Some of our listeners may have noticed the large foreign fleet offshore, but all true Tropicans know the difference between a blockade and an invasion.
Another day, another set of new Tropicans to dump on Mars. By that we mean, of course, a new bunch of brave heroes arriving in the promised land of Neo Tropico. Canal Uno apologizes for this grave mistake.
Aha! I thought I smelled a rat, and something fishy. I just wish I'd found out it was someone embezzling us before I fired the cook. Everybody loves money, but there is not enough to go around. It never hurts to seem more generous than you are, and nothing is quite as magnanimous as Social Security. Free money without having to work for it, if you ignore the ghastly mountain of paperwork, of course. If we offer it to just the elderly and university students, we won't have to pay out to most of the population, but we'll still seem implausibly big-hearted. A nearly flawless scam. This is most vexing. Other than ruling out our fellow Tropicans, we have been unable to determine the identity of the thief, or find a new cook.
Presidente, we are almost at the end of our journey. Like a phoenix from the ashes, Tropico has risen again to its former glory, and with our amazing presidential executive asteroid-killing energy relay, Speaker for short, I came up with that name. As I was saying, with our amazing Speaker, that asteroid is as good as defeated.
Nuclear missiles, the future of warfare, or planet-destroying insanity? A new report from the palace says, classified.
We was ready to haul the rocks, but suddenly there were druids everywhere.
Anyone who suspects that an uprising is in progress is simply wrong, the palace informs us. We are told that some citizens are simply letting off steam.
Anyway, there are a few messages from some big overseas nations about wanting to drag us into some war they're fighting.
Presidente, as promised, I do indeed gasp in awe at the effortless way in which you completed my workout.
The palace confirmed today that the perpetrators of the recent consumer goods and food thefts have been caught red-handed. Red, presumably, after burning them on hot property.
Salty seashells, governor. Me throat is all coarse and rough from the long days at sea. It'd be nice to have a little liquid gold to soothe me pipes. Ye wouldn't happen to have a few barrels laying around for your peg-leg pirate pals now, would ye?
The mission to Mars was a tremendous success. The rocket blew up 2,000 feet from the launch pad,
Luckily, only Sagi was aboard.
Hey, the digitization tech actually works. Although it only works for things made out of blocks like pyramids or New York subdivisions, so don't get any crazy ideas.
The Tropican dollar is the strongest it has ever been. See? I cannot even tear this dollar in half. Perhaps if I tried a note instead of a coin, though.
Presidente, I see myself. Not in the metaphorical sense, but literally. That man over there is me, I think. He looks weird. It's like looking into one of those distortion mirrors at an amusement park. What is wrong with your mouth, you toad?
I think I still have my head. Do you have yours? Oh, what a relief. Let me be the first to say, congratulations to my new Presidente.
Now, what should we use on you? Silence! We will ask the questions. Now, what shall we use? The feather? The nails on chalkboard? Or the wet sock treatment?
Presidente, Operation Stony Kitty is a success. The agents returned from Egypt with the limestone sculpture molecularly dissolved in Egyptian wine.
This hour usually hosts Canal Uno's Disco Inferno, but I've been told that's in bad taste right now.
What a hassle it is enforcing the ban on certain substances that all the citizens seem to enjoy, just because they happen to be called illegal drugs. But names are our flexible resource, and, hey presto, now they are not illegal drugs, they are medicinal substances. And while we are at it, why not go all the way and call them taxable revenue? It is so much better to take taxable revenue instead of paying the police to confiscate illegal drugs. It is so unfortunate that the internet has made it so fashionable to avoid vaccinations. It is understandable. Nobody likes to get sick, and vaccinations always make you slightly ill. Yes, they also eradicate fatal diseases, which is a plus, but the internet was never particularly strong on logical thinking. We might have to use a certain draconian persuasiveness to force everyone to have their shots.
Oh, savior of my unworthy life, let me prove my value. Penultimo is sneaky,
Penultimo is clever, and Penultimo knows which side his bread is buttered.
Ah, but what a wonderful world we briefly made.
I think I will keep this chapter short, however. We do not want too many stories which suggest that ambitious, ruthless leaders should be suspicious of those closest to them. Your loyal Penultimo's only ambition is to help you.
We were lucky to escape with our lives, Presidente. Our lives and the backpack full of gold you quite rightly made me swim with.
Good news, Tropico! Nights will be a lot less cold for the foreseeable future, as volcano eruptions will keep you toasty warm. What a relief.
Presidente, the new agency is working well to fight corruption. I wonder if we might use this resource a little differently?
You have done it, Presidente. Victory is ours. I mean, yours.
The communist leader was seen angrily storming out of the El Presidente Club today, although later claiming to have left the club because they wouldn't let everyone else in.
I have an idea.
Bing! It was a visual gag involving holding a light bulb above my head, but I suppose that doesn't work in text.
But these kind of incandescent bulbs are not very energy efficient,
and the filament always breaks at the most inconvenient moments. The new fluorescents are so much better, if we ignore the mercury poisoning and so forth.
It is so difficult to keep up with the Crown's whims, but it is best that we do keep ahead, lest we lose ahead. Governance is your vocation, Presidente, your calling. The people cannot govern themselves. They are too small. They need you. Do you remember Mount Kraken, Presidente? Intrigue with the Axis, sabotage in a wimple, and gold. Oh, the gold.
A listener wrote asking, "How can I help El Presidente win the war?" The palace replies, "Vote El Presidente in the next election." International oil prices fell today after the discovery of a new source in the Bermuda Triangle. Spokesmen for the big oil companies have denied that the source is simply previously sunken tankers.
Do you know the secret of better trade deals? Friendships. And what better way to make international friendships than joining a borderline legal import-export bloc? It is just a bunch of friends trading together and getting rich doing it. What could be better?
We get juicier trade contracts, and we only have to pay a modest membership fee to join. They even have a newsletter. Classy.
Atomic bombs. Fact or fiction? Tropican scientists say, we don't understand the physics. Palace says, try harder.
Neuschwanstein has touched down, dude. Of course, re-entry broke it into tiny pieces, but we've waited, and everything is still there.
The recent uptake of green technology stalled today when everyone realized we were all doomed already. Ooh, I probably should have delivered that differently.
Okay, calm. Engine status, check. Time GPS, locked. Core power, check. Cup holders, double check.
What? Who? Did we win? Can I stop dancing now?
Canal Uno proudly congratulates the Tropinauts for finishing the landing simulation. After 200 tries, they got the rocket to land without exploding. Let's hope the real deal is easier than the game. Poor Kerbonauts. Construction of the Tropican space station is moving ahead at record speeds. Don't get sloppy now, guys. We don't want to have that space donut be eaten by space ants.
Ah, Presidente, there you are. I need a quick signature from you. I know you don't receive your mail personally. This concerns the delivery for our allies. Do you remember?
Canal Uno is delighted to report that farmers will enjoy additional rainfall in the days ahead. And strong winds mean extra work for hairdressers. Wonderful! Sources inside the palace state that the crime ring behind the recent luxury good thefts has finally been broken up into pieces no larger than a person.
Canal Uno wishes the Tropinauts on board the recently launched rocket all the best. And remember to bring me back a souvenir. I like shiny rocks.
Today, Tropico bids a fond farewell to Magnus Sterling, who left us all the richer for knowing him. Except in any monetary sense, since he was surprisingly tight.
Canal Uno would like to calm all the viewers who think we're going to relocate the station to Mars. No, we're staying right here, but we're always open for some competition from our Martian comrades.
Look left, look right. Statistically, every one of those people could be a spy. Be vigilant and report all strange activities, especially from family members.
Do you remember where this all began? That beautiful island so bursting with possibilities and potential, just like my dream. An acorn of a dream from which mighty commercial branding grew. Presidente, these tourists, they are like animals. They are falling over themselves for a chance to give their hard-earned money to us. We have to capitalize on that. Quantity over quality. Less upkeep means more money for us. And what are a couple of bad reviews when there are so many tourists with low standards out there?
Sister Francesca denounced the El Presidente Club as a heathen den of iniquity this afternoon. It's currently unknown if this is related to the dismissal of her colleague earlier today. Now available on the Tropican Health Service, laser eye surgery for those who simply must have laser eyes.
Presidente, the torch is inside the petticoat. Those shapely copper thighs and ankles are safely secured on Tropican soil. Proximo, aid to the Presidente of Santa Tonto, still provokes me. Ya, boo, Penultimo, he taunts. Your island smells awful, and your people are all sick. How are we going to get him back down? Yes, the greatest nation is the one that has the most postcards on the refrigerator of the world. Tourists! Inspired thinking, Presidente. Now that we have exhausted Ms. Kuznetsov's expertise, it is time to make Tropico the world's #1 destination, and not just for tax exiles. The broker is no noob when it comes to cybersecurity. This data is buried deep. Literally, his server is underground and we cannot get to it. What? Who are you?
Remember, loose lips might sink ships, so tighten your lips with a Tropican-made spanner. You won't regret it.
Presidente, I think the professor has calmed down now, but I had to promise him we wouldn't misuse his precious toys. Joke's on him. I only keep my promises to El Presidente. So, let's start misusing his toys. What are you? Ah, Seems your efforts weren't thorough enough last time. Presidente, I'm sorry. I bring terrible news. It appears we, or rather, you, have been tricked. You lost everything. It says so right here in this letter of repossession. It has your signature on it.
Why would you sign this, Presidente?
Presidente, the festival was a smashing success. Here are the exact numbers as you requested. I'm sorry, but I was unable to ascertain the number of llamas involved.
If I may have your attention, Presidente.
Presidente, I don't wish to concern you, but we are out of ice in the minibar. Also, it might be the end of the world.
El Presidente's hard work has paid off in a stunning election win. And by paid off, I don't mean... And now the weather.
Presidente, the festival was a smashing success. Here are the exact numbers as you requested. I'm sorry I couldn't find out how many peanuts were in that jar. We now have a pirate cove. No, not a pirate coven. Sea crime and witchcraft should never be combined.
Oh, come on now. It's not that bad. We recovered from worse in the past.
Presidente, the Cold War is over. The future is now present, and the present will presently pass into the past.
Another successful voyage. The hold is stuffed with mosaics.
We have it, Presidente. The tusk of the alabaster narwhal. I have glued it all back together. Look, he's my little sea unicorn. I call him Presidente Junior.
The palace has just announced that the war overseas is over. Or at least not profitable anymore. But it amounts to the same thing.
Banks are a financial institution, Presidente. And like any institution, they are full of mad people. Sorry, Presidente. I meant to say, are you well? But I am reminded of your pirate days. Oh, look! There I am in the window, waving at you. Hola, Presidente! You will not actually see me, of course, as Penultimo does not like having his picture taken.
Oh my, look at him, sleeping like a stone. Totally oblivious, not noticing a thing. You know, while we're here and he's out cold, let's sniff around for some new tech we can misappropriate. Oh my God! He collects socks.
I speak of Tropico, history's greatest chocolate factory. Let me remind you of a time when lemonade seas lapped against gingerbread beaches, parrot cakes nested in bubblegum trees, and people wore tea sherbets and marzipants all year round. It was a sugary paradise. While you plot against Prince Thari, Presidente, I have been scheming against the EU. Wyndham still has their support. So, we must connubble them.
Now, moving on to item 47 of 200. A new shipment of paper clips came in today. Oh, exciting.
An official statement from the palace says there is nothing to be alarmed about. The sense of growing dread is perfectly normal.
Presidente, the festival was a smashing success. Here are the exact numbers as you requested. I'm sorry, but we couldn't get a clear read on the number of people picturing you riding a llama.
Welcome back to Canal Uno, Tropico's finest palace-funded broadcaster. If you're a fan of barbed social criticism, then good news! Noted firebrand Jesus Fuego arrived on Tropico today. I, for one, can't wait to be shouted at.
Presidente, our treasury is empty. Surely we must have been robbed.
Canal Uno is proud to announce the never-before-seen rocket, ready to send a man into space, or, failing that, make some pretty fireworks.
A listener wrote in asking, how do I know if my neighbor is a spy? The palace responds, take no chances. Spy on everyone.
Government. This is loyal Penultimo's specialist subject. I have all the specs and diagrams at home.
Shiver me timbers. It was suddenly pilgrimage season, and we were surrounded.
We hit the mother load. Double XP and a pretzel for everyone.
Canal Uno would like to draw the attention of all citizens to the beautiful meteor trails in the sky and the thrilling explosions on nearby islands. Exciting!
How fortunate that we do not use gold or silver to mint our currency. With paper currency, money literally grows on trees. Let's take advantage of the situation and borrow some money to meet vital expenses like spiffy new military uniforms, a variety of rubber stamps, and governmental forms for applying for the right governmental forms. We can pay it back later. So let us buy everything.
A rocket has just been launched by one of our competitors. Apparently, they think they can settle Mars better than us. Ha! We'll show them when we overtake their crappy rust bucket and make Mars our own.
In any case, I am glad we never have to deal with boredom ever again. It is true, the wind is stronger than usual, and thunder has been heard rumbling in the distance, but I assure you, the palace is in no danger. Hey, it worked! We were able to trigger a subterranean nuclear device to create a transit tunnel through the Earth, and the Temple of Heaven just fell straight through!
What a great time to be alive! From future shock to road rage, technology has made everything better.
Good thinking. See what the tourists think of our little archipelago. If only we could arrest the ones that are not having fun, our job would be just a little easier.
Good news for those dying of thirst. Weather reports predict an end to the drought. When your mouth's so dry, doesn't water seem extra wet?
Recycling is our way of giving Mother Earth a great big hug. And the ardent citizens of Tropico are standing by to do their bit, provided there are fines in place for anyone who refuses to get elbow deep in their own filthy garbage. The streets and the air will be so much cleaner, not to mention our national reputation. Just don't mention that the industrial buildings are where most of the toxic groundwater has come from.
Sir, we are unable to move the giant stone heads without a large number of wooden rollers or a kind of twin-rotor helicopter we haven't invented yet.
Finally, the war is behind us. What's next? Certainly not a different kind of war.
This story speaks to Penultimo. As everyday people go about their lives, scraping money together for the occasional luxury or treat, titans stride the earth behind them, too big to fail, too large to even be seen. Life is different for the winners, Presidente. Let us hope that this will always be so.
Set sail for booty once more!
I am informed that harsh winters are crippling the rest of the world, Presidente. Do you remember that harsh winter we had? It almost got down to 90 degrees.
We are proud to report another successful launch of one of our colony ships. So far, our launch success rate is 110%, thanks to a technicality where we accidentally sent up two ships that were stuck together.
This pollution, Presidente. There is so much mercury in the fish that you can tell their temperature just by looking at them.
The shivering of timbers, the splicing of membraces, the rogering of jollies. Governor, the muse is with me today.
All good things come to those who wait, but all great things come to those of us who do not. So if there is a lesson here, it is not that we should try and understand science better. It is surely that we should try every crazy idea and worry about the consequences later. Later is the best time for everything. Don't you agree? There is a downside to popularity, Presidente. The well-known are easier to target, and your face is on the money. One more reason to keep it covered.
The judges are now in session, serving dollops of rich, creamy justice for all Tropican citizens. Some hidden fees may apply.
Presidente, I am back, but I was followed. I could have sworn I only tripped 5 or 10 alarms on my way out. Let me catch my breath. We pulled down a copy of the internet, no probs, and we used the strongest cryptography for added security. Now, does anyone remember the password? Boris has really stepped up his game, hasn't he? Maybe we should start considering our top secret plan of running away.
Are flying cars the future? Only if Tropico can win the war. So remember, if you want flying cars, be vigilant and buy war bonds. Eat Sun, Sea, and Stroganoff as we ally with the Eastern Bloc. Pundits ask, did the Cold War just turn tropical? As El Presidente returns from an overseas state visit, Tropico says, please don't leave again.
Your supreme leadership skill amazes me, Presidente. To think that you would stoop to negotiations with mere protesters.
The Wealth from Health Corporation are slashing the prices of plastic surgery this month. Get a free, freaky lip plumping with every nip and tuck. The palace has announced new seismic tests to investigate the robustness of our infrastructure. Don't be alarmed, but do shelter under doorways.
Governor, our pirate story library is a hit. The people have gone pirate crazy. Pirate sales are through the roof.
Sir, no go, sir.
There goes another one. What is going on? The mind control lasers are finally in orbit, Presidente. Alas, not precisely in Earth orbit, owing to a teensy hitch in the launch trajectory.
Ah, most beloved Governor, what an idyllic island. The perfect island to break free from the shackles of the crown. It will be a glorious, independent Tropico under the leadership of the one and only El
Disaster of disasters. The crew is sobering up. Worse still, they are asking questions about employment conditions and workplace safety.
Time travel. Amazing. Actually, Penultimo is joking. Making time go faster does not require a time machine. A nap is a perfectly good time machine, as is a dozen mojitos.
I thought you wanted to create a new Tropico on Mars.
What a voyage! I didn't think we'd ever eat all of those sausages.
Is this any way to treat a pirate king? The people have spoken, and it seems they no longer want you.
We're sorry to report that a rival has just launched their very own Mars colony ship. The race is on, but we have the underdog advantage. Who wants the big players to win against the little scrappy heroes, right?
Wonderful. This turned out better than expected. Let's not waste time. Okay, here we go.
This has never happened to me before, I swear, Presidente. Elena, help! We must be vigilant, Presidente. Wind and spice are everywhere, though that man in your wardrobe is a legitimate lint consultant.
We're on the run, Presidente. The jungle is our home now, and Jesus is taking the wheel. He knows these woods like no other. But the authorities got wind of our theft, and they seem to be quite trigger-happy today.
3 places across the board normalized today after many countries discovered that making goods themselves require them to pay workers a fair wage. An insane policy which thankfully does not apply to Tropico.
I'm sure the good citizens of Tropico intend to vote for you, Presidente. I myself intend to vote for you many, many times.
How is it that the criminals are more organized than the people who actually work in our warehouses? Do they have schedules?
Another successful voyage. The hold is stuffed with mosaics, sir.
The market stabilized today after worldwide nuclear winter preparations were abandoned. This is in part due to new evidence which shows that radiation will give everyone superpowers. Canal Uno giving a shout-out to the young people of Tropico. We know how you feel, my gang, because we were once young, too.
Agents in Rome have executed Operation Throw Lions to the Christians. But there is a hitch. It is true that we are having some problems with volcanoes. But do not worry. The palace is certified lava-proof. The mind control lasers are finally in orbit, Presidente. Alas, not precisely in Earth orbit, owing to a teensy hitch in the launch trajectory. I have good news and bad news. The good news is you set a record. The bad news is that it is for runaway national debt. Do you know, we are really struggling to work out what to do with all this knowledge we are producing. It can be turned into books, but then we have to pay someone to read them. Why don't we just sink our knowledge back into the education system that got us into this book smarts problem in the first place? The quicker the students learn, the sooner they can be put to work.
Canal Uno presents the first video live from Mars. Sadly, there's a 20-minute delay, so stay tuned.
She cannot take it, Presidente. She needs more power.
Canal Uno here. We have just received word that one of our rivals has just launched a colony ship. Destination, maps. Well, that's not so bad. Wait. Oh, there was a smudge on my note. I meant Mars.
Presidente, do you have a minute? Maybe somewhere away from him? Presidente, this is a little strange, don't you agree? We still have a mole in our midst, and then this thing shows up. It's all a bit fishy.
The rebels have the palace. Quick, Presidente, put on your disguise.
Presidente, the tourists could not snap the postcard. I repeat, the tourists could not snap the postcard.
Presidente, it is so dry the dogs are marking the territory with chalk lines.
The agreement which guaranteed higher prices on export trade routes to the US and Middle East came to an abrupt end today when the palace refused to confirm who it liked more.
The raiders have returned, Presidente. I hope they brought you some nice presents. It's all duty-free.
There is a rebellion, Presidente. If these rebels want your attention so badly, they should make an appointment like everybody else.
Presidente! It's the volcano! It's erupting! We don't have much time! Everything is gone! We have to get out! Presidente! It's not worth it! Come on! The pyroclastic flow could be here any minute! Ah, a new island!
So many possibilities. So much money to make. So many people to exploit. Just thinking about it makes my mouth start to water.
El Presidente fought the deadly computer worm that attacked on Wednesday and emerged victorious. The internet is safe again. We are in your debt, leader.
The rebels have the palace. Quick, Presidente, put on your disguise. And you became Presidente for life. What a joyous day. A most remarkable summer in the country of Penultimo's heart. To this day, I sometimes wake thinking it all a dream, but then I find it to be real. Please, a glass of water. It may have been the worst of times, for it was certainly not the best of times. But the Second World War created many opportunities too. Presidente, I am but your humble servant, who may only dream of achieving your greatness. I am most certain that you are already an expert at using the cargo airport. But I found the manual. May I read it to you?
Raid complete, sir. Everything accounted for. Present and correct.
We've just heard reports that a new colony has been established on Mars by our brave troponauts. All bets are off how this one will turn out. I'm personally hoping for an El Presidente theme park.
Mission complete, Presidente. We have the replica Eiffel Tower in a safe place, along with 1,000 pages of construction notes. I hope the engineers can read my handwriting. Don't worry, Presidente, I have everything under control.
Rockets, the newest threat raining death from the skies. The palace assures all its citizens that no country thinks Tropico is worth sending rockets against. The palace reassures all citizens that it takes environmental concerns very seriously and is willing to use military force to underline how seriously.
Ah, Presidente, the festival was a smashing success. Here are the exact numbers as you requested. I'm sorry, but that man who stole your cotton candy vanished without a trace. I can smell a deal in the wind, Presidente. Well, either that or one of our rum distilleries has exploded. Yet it is very popular in the USA, where citizens use it as an excuse to eat mustardy sausages and drink fermented grain. And it may have been the national sport of Tropico, or it may not. Come with me on a journey into sports, more important even than economics. It may have been an oversight during mission planning that we did not consider that the target is literally next door to the Kremlin. How beautiful the tower looked on Tropican soil, Presidente. And how handsome the gift shop revenue afterwards. Most beloved Presidente, do you remember Tropico? Emerald palm trees, platinum beaches, and crystalline seas, from which the sun reflects like the twinkling of jewels and golden coins.
U-boats versus submarines. Canal Uno investigates the underwater menace. Later, Atlantis fish people, the real underwater menace.
You did it, Presidente! You have become supreme ruler of the Caribbean!
The matter has concluded successfully, Presidente. Say no more.
Presidente, people in the wealthier nations are losing their trust in savings and investment firms. What on earth can you bank on, if not banks? What is going on?
We all know that El Presidente hates bullies. So when superpowers try to bully Tropico, Presidente says, no more trade for you.
Canal Uno sends its warmest regards to the brave troponauts who have just claimed the Red Planet in the name of El Presidente. Make sure to call dibs before anyone else tries to land.
After El Presidente's landslide victory, an official statement reveals that the opposition is retiring and might not be seen for a while.
Ha ha! Take that, you sniveling little spy! To find out what information you've got, I brought my own personal collection of tools. Owl feather, pigeon feather, and a lock of El Presidente's hair.
Newsflash! Colony ship gets off ground without problem. Rest of journey uncertain. Mild chance of space rain.
Keeping all the factions sweet is the key to political success. It is also impossible, which is why politics is such good fun. It is never for me to tut or frown or roll my eyes, my Presidente. I was, and still am, your faithful servant, and my face is yours to command.
Who would have believed that my humble dream would end in a mega-branded mega-industry so colossal we were able to buy out all of our rivals and take over the Monopolies Commission too?
Crowds gathered today as the Busto de la Libertad brought her famous ice cream cone to the shores of sunny Tropico.
Presidente, do you know how your loyal Penultimo worries? This big enchilada, he is trouble. We must find out who he is. As I recall, it all began with the Wizard Wonkmeister golden coupons.
Presidente, your population is magnificent.
Some of the people are even quite healthy. Our equality is clearly more equal than Proximo's.
Presidente, thank you. Your great popularity with the people gained you a golden coupon. And you named me your +1.
Canal Uno wishes every tourist on the joyride a great time on Tropico. Be sure to visit the gift shop after you swim back to shore.
Tired of boarding a ferry with goats to get to neighboring countries? Welcome to the jet age with a newly constructed Esteban Memorial Airport.
Congratulations, Governor. No, Presidente. How I missed this.
Export trade route prices with the US and Europe fell today after they discovered that the poisonous spiders which were occasionally found in our shipments to them were being added deliberately.
Excellent, Presidente. The new minister has already greased a few palms and stabbed a few backs, and it's only Tuesday.
El Presidente announces today a new deal with God, bringing an end to recent shortages of rain and drinking water. Praise be to the palace!
When international relations go south, what better solution than inviting all the foreign powers to the embassy for a humdinger of a shindig? Canapes in the consulate, nightcaps in all the night spots, and a special party favor for each dignitary to take home and enjoy.
Mr. Ambassador, with these bribes, you are really spoiling us.
Tragedy, outrage, unthinkable betrayal. The citizens do not respect your daring development dreams, El Presidente. I knew he was trouble from the very first time I saw him. I knew.
Canal Uno, today with double the news as usual. Firstly, our colony ship en route to Mars has suffered a tragic loss in motivation and has given up. But more importantly, today is also my birthday!
Do you remember that drowning island? Some blamed global warming, while others blamed those who blamed global warming. But all agreed that the island was unusable, until your titanic intellect smacked into this iceberg of a problem and did not sink.
Hollywood movie star Buck Bailey announced today that he has decided to stay on Tropico permanently, or at least for as long as El Presidente permits him.
Canal Uno here with an important announcement. Penultimo, the longtime advisor and general drudge for El Presidente, has been declared a fugitive on the loose. If you see him, don't hesitate to use any violent means necessary to apprehend him. Some of our Mars callers have reported that thanks to the low gravity on Mars, they could finally realize their dream of playing professional basketball. Maybe someone should invent a ball sport with no gravity. Spaceball.
Robot cars. They drive themselves into the back of a truck so that you don't have to. Coming soon to a road near you.
Governor, I am so proud of you. My 6-year-old niece couldn't have done it better. Well done, Presidente. What a wonderful clubhouse to conduct private business in. It actually has a smoking room. Although the contractors assure me that now the wiring has been fixed.
As one tiny island votes to leave the European Union, Tropico votes to join with pride. Do you have euros? We will take them.
Oh, Presidente, finally the power to bring the world to an end is at your fingertips, as it always should have been. And yet, I remember that blessed archipelago where you found a way to rule forever. Its islands were scattered across the sea like a constellation, and it was written in the stars that you would become Presidente for life. But only a Presidente of your genius could convince the people that it was their idea.
Canal Uno reports the squirrel clinging to the outside of the colony ship has been rescued shortly before the launch and is now happily chowing on some nuts. Oh, and the ship is fine too, by the way.
No word yet from the palace on how El Presidente ended the volcanic eruptions. But fistfight with giant lava monster is hotly tipped.
Success, Governor. Wyndham believes the cargo lost. He has no idea you are hiding it all in your second bathroom.
That's yesterday's news, right, Presidente? Who would want to live on a dead, lifeless rock when they can live here, in paradise? Hey, Presidente? Presidente?
Good day, Governor. We had a slight mishap on the way to our great mission, and now we're in need of just a few planks to fix a few minor holes in the ship. Nothing to be concerned about. Of course, we drove him to his fury. It was that sea creature statuette he was obsessed with. Who would have thought it would change the destiny of Tropico and bring down a family with more blue blood than an ocean of octopuses?
Good morning, Presidente. I've been up since 4 a.m. in order to have a word with the professor before he disappears into his science cave. He gave me an estimate of costs on this piece of paper. I haven't looked at it yet, but why, oh my, that's a lot of zeros.
Good thinking, Presidente. What's better than a library? 2 libraries. This principle does not work with all things. Wars and injuries, for instance.
It's magnificent, Presidente. Shame it's just a dummy rocket going nowhere. We're about to send a broadcast to the whole world. In other news, we might not have much time after that. I'll pack your socks.
Come now, Mr. Negative Nancy. It's just a tiny spot.
With El Presidente's partying prowess, we'll be rid of it by lunchtime.
Presidente, we received this message from Funhauser.
Yo, Presidente.
Sorry I can't come in person, too busy partying. Typical. Have a little treat for you. A special technique passed down through generations from Funhauser to Funhauser. Oh, God, there's more than one. The secret to the biggest parties ever. Well, this should be good. Turn the page over. What? Is that the secret? Oh, wait, it's here, on the back. It says, party harder. I don't know what I was expecting. So I guess we have to party harder to have a bigger impact with our festivals. That's probably going to exhaust everyone. Very helpful Funhauser.
The palace denies any truth to global warming, climate change, or ozone layers. Changes in sea levels are merely the result of large mutant lizards. As the Eiffel Tower arrives in its new home, Tropicans say oui to French fever. Meanwhile, the palace issues a plea that citizens do not eat brightly colored local frogs.
There, after all these months of hiking up and down these mountains, my feet are killing me, and the smell is becoming nauseating to the men. Thank God we finally found what we're looking for.
Keeping everyone happy is impossible, of course. So you have to play the numbers. In brief, you are number 1. I am number 2, and everyone else is way down there somewhere.
It's time for Celebrity 60 Seconds on Canal Uno.
Success, Presidente! Our allies are reporting success in their fight against Boris. He seems to have slowed noticeably. Don't stop now. Maybe we can turn this around.
Our brave Presidente today took a courageous step by forming an audacious alliance with the spunky Axis. Now they won't invade us.
I can't wait to see what comes next for our beautiful Tropico.
Social media sensation Brittany Triviale arrived on the island today. On her arrival, she stated, "Get ready to get shook, Tropico. Hope you're all on fleek." Whatever that means.
Yeah, Governor. Psst, don't be startled, Governor. I infiltrated the filthy pirates that are trying to raid us. I mean, you scurvy Governor. Give us some booty or test our swords. Arr!
Nuclear weapons. Do they still have a place in our lives? Or are they simply objects of Cold War nostalgia?
I regret to report that some foul blight has blown in on our otherwise fair winds.
Oh, but do not worry. It is not your relatives. We have learned much from interrogating Wyndham's spies. Some of it sounds made up, but something has to be true, even if it is just by coincidence.
Presidente, I received a boastful letter from Proximo, aide to the leader of Santo Tonto. Is this some kind of challenge? He is such a snake.
Just joining us? Welcome to our live coverage as the palace's west wall gets painted. Tropico says Ohio gozaimasu to its newest feature, a traditional Edo period castle. Just what you've always wanted. In light of the current uprising, all citizens are asked to commence an immediate inventory of canned goods. Absolutely do not look out your windows.
I was once like you, but I have learned that no matter how dire the situation, El Presidente always finds a way. Always.
Canal Uno would like to once again remind you that space is dangerous. Case in point, we just lost contact with another colony ship due to cosmic coincidences out of our control.
Our elite squad is deep into enemy territory, but the compasses just arrived in this morning's mail.
Canal Uno would like to apologize to our Martian listeners. We're experiencing a little interference with something in space. Either an asteroid, a stray black hole, or aliens. Take your pick. Canal Uno is 100% certain that the upcoming trip to Mars will be a resounding success. We've done our own testing here in the studio with a paper cup as the rocket and a bin as Mars. 4 out of 10 times we made it into the bin.
Miss Scallywags are smiling because we've grabbed all the booty. I suppose it all goes to show that you don't really need corruption. Not when you've got ineptitude to spare. Good news, you won the election. But the bad news is that you have to live up to all the empty promises you were advised to make. By me.
The palace stresses that factories are very important to Tropico's prosperity, and it will take any and all steps to ensure they continue to operate.
Something does not feel quite right, Governor. I have a powerful desire to call you Presidente. How is it that miners can be so fussy? They get a roof over their head, even if it is rather prone to collapse.
Canal Uno is delighted to report that El Presidente has declared victory. Viva El Presidente, the clear winner of this utterly above-board election.
Your judgment is always impeccable, Presidente. But might I make a tiny suggestion?
China and the EU canceled the deal giving Tropico preferential trade routes today after a third party went by without them being invited. New genetically modified crops are a smash hit in the neighboring islands of the Pobreza Republic. Farmers say, we love paying for seed grain every year. Today, our esteemed El Presidente announced the opening of Tropico's Corruption Agency, which will finally centralize all our corruption at a great saving to you, the taxpayers. With the war-ravaged farms across Europe finally back in production, food prices finally fell today. European consumers have been warned, however, to thoroughly check their fruits and vegetables for bullets.
The design of the hyper-submarine was perfect, Presidente. But it was sadly built to 1/18th scale. It can only hold a kumquat.
No, sadly not. Our communications are still mostly out. This isn't a phone. It's a cop on a string. That's all we have right now. Successful exfil at 0800 hours yesterday. The cargo is en route to Tropico, and we're sitting pretty in first class. Now all we have to do is wait for the Postal Service to do their job.
That is the perfect blend of plausible and ridiculous, Presidente. A superb choice.
An influenza outbreak has struck Tropico. The palace asks citizens to remain in their homes and avoid large crowds of people, especially protesters.
Is a hall the likes of which ye have never seen. A shiver me whiskers, we was too slow. It appears that if we continually repair and maintain drones, they don't fall apart as fast. Who'd have thought it? This way, old drones can work a lot longer before they have to be taken behind the tool shed. Jim and his shotgun will be sad.
Presidente, the market is climbing and falling so rapidly. Just looking at the reports is making me seasick.
Canal Uno recommends bring entertainment on the ship that you don't mind consuming over and over for the rest of your life, because there's no turning back now. So, choose wisely.
And another one on the pile? Wait, right. The bin is full. Now what? I mean, we already reached our goal. So, how about I just... Ow! Right. Yes, I'll transfer a portion of the... Ow! All of the money to your account.
In international news, there was a statement by one of our rivals saying that they had successfully launched their own rocket to Mars, which is weird when I specifically told Jim to put a whole... forget what I just said.
Do not be alarmed at the unscheduled fire drill being conducted today. Everything is under control, and burning buildings were already scheduled for refurbishment.
Stealing Paris's most famous landmark. Presidente has been drinking the fine cognac this morning, I suppose.
The hackers are so tired they can't even type petulant video game reviews into 4chan, Presidente. As the face of the Little Big Press brand, boosting your image boosts our success. It's like magic, except you don't have to wear a top hat or wave a stick about. Okay, ready, in 2, 1, go! It is an age-old question, Presidente. Which is smarter, the person or the abacus? Well, that is an age-old trick question. The abacus cannot think.
There's a new sport in the Tropican streets today called rebellion. However, the palace warns that without a license to play, rebellion is illegal.
Your judgment is always impeccable, Presidente. But might I make a tiny suggestion?
What makes the Cold War so cold? The lack of love for El Presidente. Remember, loving El Presidente is your patriotic duty as a Tropican. Future shock. Can it happen? Canal Uno has determined it is impossible for technology to change so fast that humans couldn't handle it. What a relief.
Hey, it worked! We were able to trigger a subterranean nuclear device to create a transit tunnel through the Earth, and the Temple of Heaven just fell straight through, dude!
It was announced today that El Presidente ended the unjust trade blockade by threatening to withhold our produce. Shellfish? Yes, including those.
You did it, Presidente! You have become supreme ruler of the Caribbean!
Canal Uno holiday news. If you're planning a trip overseas in the near future, you might want to reconsider. There are a few nasty little battleships surrounding Tropico, and they look a bit trigger-happy.
Our elite squad is deep into enemy territory. But the compasses just arrived in this morning's mail. This might work. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I have played Asteroid Miner and I almost cleared the 3rd level.
The world says, Viva Tropico, as El Presidente wins the war.
This is Canal Uno, world's first interplanetary radio station. That means we're on 2 planets. Double the planets, double the fun, double the amount of people who get to hear ads.
Are you looking for somewhere stylish to conduct Friday prayers? Try our new Patriarchal Basilica / Imperial Mosque. You won't regret it.
Your buccaneers hanker to weigh anchor, O most fearless of leaders. If only there was a breeze.
Presidente, whenever the world leaders feud, prices fall off a cliff. If only they would fall off instead. I have laundered the money, Presidente. It now smells of forest pine. And I have a fortune in diamonds inside my socks.
As the stem cell controversy rages, Tropican botanists report that they've always used stem cells for experiments. And leaf and petal cells, too.
I do not understand these nuclear weapons, Presidente. Surely they would cause intense heat, not some winter. I am so proud of you, Presidente. Your control of your Tropico is absolute.
New privacy laws have finally abolished privacy. Now, true Tropicans can relax. If nobody is looking at you funnily, you must be a good person.
Presidente, I have returned, and I have the solution. Why do you look so sad? People say change is good, Presidente, but I do not like how it makes my pockets bulge. Penultimo likes sleek lines to his tailoring. Presidente, I am sorry to report, but while I was doing your laundry, one of your favorite socks has turned up missing. That's the 5th one this week. I wonder how many socks have gone missing over the years, lost to the void, doomed to never again see the light of day. On a completely different subject, I had a great idea, Presidente. Our festivals are a wonderfully chaotic mess of joy and happiness. In fact, they're so chaotic that any number of things get lost in the commotion all the time. Things such as ice cream, money, children, parking tickets, you name it. So, I'm sure nobody would notice if some of the proceeds went lost and a generous donation was made to your Swiss bank account. Right?
Mother Russia extends a hand of friendship to Tropico. We will be sure not to bite it, Torvalyich.
Let me add to your infinite wisdom, Presidente. How could this be? You did everything right, except for angering a powerful international military force.
The Americans are our friends. Here at Canal Uno, we never doubted it. Prepare to eat apple pie and have dreams of being overweight. Yeehaw!
Oh, those other dictators. Sometimes they get lucky, but not as lucky as your loyal Penultimo. This is my dream job. We successfully scanned the Winter Palace, although the high-intensity lasers vaporized the building in the process. My bad.
Energy efficiency is a Tropican concern, so every Thursday is now Bathe in the Dark Day. What were you going to do in there? Photosynthesize?
Do you know what is a good way of getting more people to visit Tropico? Multiculturalism. It is easy, too. Just start by saying that you support cultural diversity, and then you have annual parades with armed police escorts in case all that lively cross-cultural exchange gets out of hand. Sure, there may be some detractors who see immigration as letting outsiders steal their jobs, but we laugh their worries away with better ethnic cuisine. What's not to like? The citizens are demanding elections, Presidente. It seems that they want a choice in how they are ruled. So selfish. Splendid, Presidente. We have secured the means of transportation. Now we can start charming these scientists, and as you know, the way to a scientist's heart is through their stomach. Or something like that.
You've lived in a nation. Now play the game. El Presidente has officially licensed the new Tropico Everybody Loves Presidente video game. On sale now.
I cannot comprehend why people crave a smart furniture, Presidente. Who wants to be outwitted by a chair?
Strengthened unregulated trade ended today when the group running the enterprise realized that by regulating it, they could make a bunch more money.
Presidente, I have eaten 100 bars of chocolate, and still you have no coupon. I have failed you, and I'm feeling very strange. Oh dear, I am not sure he will be a good minister. He is such a gossip. On the other hand, perhaps that is what we want.
Canal Uno has received word that inflation has skyrocketed thanks to investor greed. El Presidente expresses disappointment in the capitalists for not being team players.
Presidente, we've landed and met with our local contact, a Mr. Jesus, who knows the area like the back of his hand, which, weirdly enough, has a hole in it. He says it's from a gunshot, but I think it might have been a high-fiving accident. Unable to land plane anywhere near Palace owing to start of monsoon season. Our agents have now trained in 40 martial arts, 12 marital arts, and learned how to kill a man using only a peanut.
Higher prices on trade routes towards Russia and the Middle East were terminated by both parties today after a diplomatic incident involving a camel and some vodka.
For Tropico!
Canal Uno bringing you the latest space news. Today, a traffic collision has been reported on the space highway between Earth and Mars, prematurely ending the Tropican colony ship. Maybe we should put up some signs.
By astonishing coincidence, the vote tallies matched those Canal Uno was given last night. An astounding result for El Presidente. Congratulations.
Oh my. Did a meteor just hit only that one building and nothing else around it? How weirdly specific.
The cost of terrestrial minerals rallied today after the consortium dealing in space minerals collapsed, having discovered that they had forgotten to factor in the cost of rocket fuel.
It seems we have a bad case of the shakes. Earthquakes, in fact. Or at least tremors. Let us make sure that all the rum bottles in the palace are secure. Shiver my whiskers. We was too slow. You did it, Presidente. You did it. You cracked the tough nut to have Tropico Land take first place on the POT Index, Penultimo's objective theme park rating.
We are receiving news that surprisingly organized vandals have damaged civic buildings in Tropico. Do not be alarmed. This is categorically not a rebel attack.
Canal Uno here with the latest space news. This just in. Tropico successfully launches rocket into space. Every nation on Earth is impressed. We checked. Canal Uno is proud to report that the Tropican space station has been completed. Truly a marvel of Tropican engineering. Be sure to wave to the station whenever it whizzes over our heads.
Presidente, according to the latest master plan memo from the broker, we are going to need a big launch. I was excited, but only because I misread it as big lunch.
Mobile phones. Modern miracle? Public nuisance? Or a cause of cancer? Let Canal Uno know your opinion. Call it now.
Excellent, Presidente. You are spreading the wealth. Definitely the right choice.
Canal Uno here with a missing landmark report from the USA. If you have seen a lost $1 million space vehicle while on vacation, let them know. Our money is on the Soviets.
Magnus Sterling, the 9th richest person in the world, arrived on Tropico today. Remember, he's on holiday, so please, give it 24 hours before you all start hitting him up for cash.
I do not understand what makes people think they can produce better goods than us. Unless, of course, they have actually bought some of our goods, in which case I do understand. Plane touched down at 0800 hours, weighing in at about, 800 tons or so.
Reports of downtown vandalism are greatly exaggerated. The fashionable new distressed architecture style is apolitical and proves nothing anyway, the palace says.
The Parisians never sleep, sir. They don't even eat dinner until 2000 hours. Can you believe there was a time when we didn't share our innermost thoughts freely with everyone, Presidente? Not that I ever kept mine from you.
As the Iron Curtain becomes scrap metal, El Presidente says, how much for that?
Penultimo has heard it is now well worth crossing the Bosphorus. This isn't a yoga move after all, Presidente, but something geographic.
Some of our listeners might be pondering getting a ticket to Mars. Keep in mind, it's a one-way ticket. So, if you're in debt, have trouble with your mother-in-law, or just don't like your family, you're in luck.
But you did pay the broker quite a lot of money, and he did seem really rather smug about it. Never mind, beloved Presidente. I still have one bottle of number 18. And look, here is a lime. Let us drink to old enemies and older friends. Oh, Presidente,
You know what they say. Sometimes less is more.
Collectible Little Big Prez is a huge success, Presidente. They are talking about a movie. I asked if they wanted you to play the lead, but they looked at me as if I was mad.
As disgruntled citizens gather, El Presidente responds by increasing next year's gruntling budget by a huge 2%. The recent trade Cold War between the Caribbean and several superpowers came to an end this afternoon after a special envoy from Tropico delivered an ultimatum. And a basket of mini-muffins.
Presidente, I have excellent news. Also, I have terrible news. Which do you want first? Never mind. They are both the same. The broker has disappeared. Yes, of course. What about Funhauser? Shouldn't we... Presidente, tourism is at an all-time high. We have even been removed from several do-not-travel danger advisory lists. Oh, that's a good one. This promise will be as irresistible as that chloroform cologne you once bought me.
Citizens should not be concerned about radioactive waste. Tropico's nuclear program uses a new kind of uranium that produces 0 officially recorded waste products. Good news, Tropico. The Ministry of Information is here for all your questions and queries. Please bring all rumors and allegations immediately. Win fabulous prizes!
Don't be startled by my ingenious disguise, Presidente. It is me, Penultimo. Sebastian gave me this brilliant glasses-mustache-nose combo for my mission. He assured me this is cutting-edge spy technology.
When I first heard that the great superpowers were mining in heavenly bodies, I feared for your safety, Presidente. But it appears they were talking about space.
Presidente, the llama is in the discotheque. I repeat, the llama is in the discotheque.
Presidente, in a transparent attempt to counter declining sales, Wizard Wonkmeister is holding a competition to visit his factory.
Foreign lands have been beset with uncontrollable conflagrations that are spreading like wildfire.
It is much more dangerous than the tame stuff. The eyes of the world are upon you, Presidente. Although, who can blame the world when you look so handsome?
Yes, I'm all ears.
I never trusted Prince Thari, Presidente. He's too friendly. Do you have a plan to remove his funding from Wyndham's pockets? Presidente, let us declare a special day for celebrating our nation that can secretly celebrate the Tropico brand, the way Valentine's Day celebrates greetings cards manufacturers.
Marvelous, Presidente. Now all I have to do is get into the submarine, where I'll be locked in 100 meters under the sea, in shark-infested waters. What could go wrong?
Presidente, my investigation is complete. It is beyond doubt. Tourists do want accommodation.
Tourists. They are annoying, and they are garishly dressed, but they come with money that they want to spend, and that makes them our friends.
As convenient as it has been to have most of our citizens incapable of reading, certain judgmental nations have accused Tropico of being a backward backwater. Fortunately, it was written in a foreign newspaper, so not only did nobody here see it, they couldn't read it even if they had. However, if you decide you should like to have more citizens who could read and write, we can always throw money at the school system and see what happens.
The palace heard the people crying out for a public square with traditional Islamic schools around the outside. And now your prayers have finally been answered.
Good morning, Presidente. World War II is over, and I have brought you a nice omelette for breakfast. I did not make it without breaking eggs. Pits did turn out to be a bit of a fad, and is now only seriously played here and in Japan. But we continue the great tradition of the Tropico series, and Gran Aranya cheers on our brave players in the Pit's Pit every year. Go, Sovereigns!
Who do these people think they are, Presidente? Do they think they're your new advisors? No, that's nobody but me, your trusted Penultimo, your one and only advisor, right? Right?
Canal Uno is proud to report that our brave Troponauts have conquered the surface of Mars. So far, no Martians. Investigations pending.
Look, a boat. It looks so tiny from here.
but I doubt even you could lift it. Quick, Presidente, protect your precious self with this unworthy meat shield called Penultimo. The bank, it is being robbed.
Remember, the truth comes into your ears only via the voice of Tropico. Do not trust the internet. Do not trust anything but Canal Uno.
Oh dear, accidents will happen. Especially when they aren't accidents at all. General Rodriguez and I have made a secret plan to free Tropico from the Axis. Oh, it is not secret from you, Presidente. And there the story ends, Presidente. I still have my cutlass. It is made from cardboard. Not much use for fighting. I have had a note from your accountant. Actually, it was more of a suicide note. I think the situation may be out of hand. Governor, this is one of the sneakiest coconut-related gold smuggling plans I have ever participated in.
Though nothing untoward has happened recently, in the streets with bricks and firebombs, we are glad to report that nothing untoward has now ceased as well.
You can do this. Don't let them see your fear. Sweep the leg. You're a bum. Okay, I'm ready, Presidente. First target, become head of the biology section. I'll pick them some flowers. Easy enough. Arrgh.
Okay, I'm out. This is getting stupid.